Welcome everyone to the
hold
Star
on.
Trek show.
So I'm literally watching the last 15 minutes of Nemesis as we go live. So Data just sacrificed himself. They're doing like a montage of everyone looking sad on the bridge, and then you hear like Idol's like guitar intro overlaying it. And this is the best juxtaposition
I'll
ever.
be there for you.
Fantastic.
That was the song that Riker was trying to remember.
It wasn't Nightbird, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome
Fuckers
to
we
the Star
will,
Trek
actually,
show, where we talk about all the news and reviews of Star Trek as a whole. I am joined by my co-hosts, Automaton, still watching Star Trek Nemesis as he speaks.
Chateau Picard.
Darzagadis and Shireporn. Thank you guys for coming. So you might have guessed, we've literally just spent the last half an hour pre-show just literally talking about all the best gold about Nemesis. I don't think you guys have stopped. It was like, save it for the show.
If there was a good joke to be made, we've already made it. And
That's
so
very true.
there's going to be
That's very
forced
true.
laughter coming up.
If you haven't watched this before, we're going to go over some Star Trek news, and then we have, for the last three episodes, we've been going through all the Star Trek Next Generation films. We covered Generations, First Contact, and last month we did Insurrection. This week, we're moving on to the epic finale that is Star Trek Nemesis, but we'll be talking about that a little bit later after a little bit of news. Not much this week, but first off, if you haven't watched it already, go check out our Star Trek videos we put up on YouTube. We've been slowly going through the pilots of Star Trek, and we just finished the Vulcan Hello and Battle of the Binary Stars very recently, and gave it a very wide rating, didn't we? It went all ends of the scale. We had some good opinions about that. But if you want to watch those, they're on our YouTube channel now. And if you want to vote into what our next episode should be, subscribe to this Twitch channel and go over to our Discord, and you can vote on the next episode we have. And I think it's a close tie between The Naked Now and the first episode of the animated series, which I'm kind of excited. I kind of want to watch Taz, but I feel
And
like...
the Man Trap is coming last.
Oh, no.
Wow. The first aired episode of a show. What is that called when it's the first episode of a show that airs? What do they call that usually?
Season 1,
I think it's called
episode
When No
1.
One Has Gone Before.
Yeah.
What premiere?
A pilot?
A premiere. Well, the pilots are... Yeah, no, you are right. We did skip the Man Trap, but we will have some good times with the Man Trap. Garrick says, too short a season. I think... Are you talking about Discovery there or anything else? Anyway, so... Where should we start? Shall we go to... Okay, this was going to be a recurring feature every time I'm on this show, every time we do this show, I think. And this is our Star Trek 4 Watch. We've had more news about Star Trek 4.
Did you steal my gimmick?
I did. Yeah, absolutely I did. Good ideas should be replicated. So yes, Zoe Saldana, who you might know plays a little-known role as Lieutenant Uhura, came forward very recently to talk about basically because they said there was a lot of talk recently. Said yes, we've got a script going. Yes, we've got director. Oh wait, we can't have that director. We've got this director, but we've got a script. It's exciting. The cast want to do it. Contracts have been signed, but no, that director's now gone off. And now, obviously, we heard last time that Matt Shackman has gone off to go and be Marvel's new hit director with his accreditations under his belt. That's no surprise. So Star Trek 4 is yet again directorless, showrunnerless, editorless.
I'll fucking do it. Give it to me.
So
I
Zoe
think
Saldana.
Stuart Baird should do it.
Could you imagine?
Is he
Zoe came
still
out and
alive?
said that. I think so. Yeah, he must be. He's still directing.
I thought he would have been stoned to death by TNG fans by now.
Nemesis was the last movie he directed, actually.
Oh, well.
Oh well, there we go. She said, yeah, no, they were in touch with J.J. Abrams, who's supposed to be sort of bringing it all together, and they had all their ideas and everything come together, and she just went, yeah, we all want to do it. We all want to come back and do another Kelvin film, but no one knows. I think it's just
You know what
Paramount.
it is?
Again, no one knows what's going on. So there's your Star Trek 4 update. Is it going to happen?
There's a pizza box. There's a pizza box in the Paramount CBS break room, and there's one slice of really nice pizza left, but everyone is too polite to take it. And I feel like that's what's happening here. It's just like, can just reach out and pick someone. You can fix it later. Just stop filming something.
Yeah. There was some stuff that came out
Talk to a
recently,
concept artist.
which I didn't bring up, I haven't got it as a link, unfortunately, but there was some stuff recently about the actual plot was supposed to be when Chris Hemsworth was still attached to appear in it. And it was supposed to be almost like an alternate reality. Kirk would go back and talk to his and they'd have like a bigger father-son moment, and it'd be them two against sort of like some new threat or whatever, which... I don't know if that would be interesting or not. I'm not sure, but that was kind of before the Tarantino Trek rumors came about, or that whole sort of spiel started. So,
Well, I heard that Henry Cavill is free if they need a lead for
not anymore.
Star Trek 4. So.
No, he's busy. He's a busy man. But that actually, Cavill in Trek. Who would you want to play Cavill in Trek? Would you want him to be a captain?
Who would I want to play Cavill?
No, who would you want Cavill to
Who
play?
would I want to play
You know
the
what I
character
meant.
known as Henry Cavill?
I think David Schwimmer would make a great Henry Cavill in Star Trek. That'd be fantastic. Like, really go the opposite direction.
Cavill as Deanna Troi, I think, would be an inspired choice.
Make him a descendant of Shran.
Interesting. What, you actually get him make-upped up?
Yeah, why not?
That's
Made up,
that's
yeah.
classic Star Trek casting. Let's cast an incredibly handsome person and then stick him under layers of makeup. That's perfect. That is actually perfect Trek casting.
This is why I should direct.
What if he was to take on the role of Chakotay in the Voyager relaunch? The Kelvin-verse
Wow.
Voyager relaunch.
No, he's Harry Kim.
Harry Kim is suddenly really buff now, yeah. Like 8 foot tall. Why are you wearing a
Are there
cape?
any other minority characters we could replace with white men? I think that would be
British
be the
British
way-
men replace minority characters perfectly, as we've learned in the Trek
That's the Star
franchise.
Trek trope as well, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Shinzon? He's not doing... No one's doing anything with Shinzon these days, are they?
See, I'd buy Cavill as young Picard. I'd buy Cavill as young Picard.
He's just too big. He's
too
like...
small. Yeah.
He could drop down to his Immortals weight.
I mean, even like after The Witcher and
I
being
know.
Superman,
Actually,
even seeing him as
now I
Sherlock
wanna see-
Holmes, he's just like, you're just a really big buff Sherlock Holmes. Like, this is weird.
Now I want to see Christian Bale as Picard because he's known to be something of a chameleon. So
Who's the
Now I'm
worst
just picturing
person?
Picard with like a Huey Lewis album, just like
That's terrible.
Who is? Oh no! Like I was thinking to myself, like, who would be the worst person to play Picard if they were to remake, if they did do Kelvinverse Picard? And Jared Leto came to my head as possibly the worst casting. The Rock. The Rock's already been in Star Trek. We've had the Rock.
are we
He had
trying
his
to make
chance.
the Nemesis review like the better part
Yeah,
of this
maybe
show,
funny.
or what are we doing here?
here's the thing. Big is pointing out Henry Cavill as Gary Mitchell. Now that's good casting, but there's a different Gary that would be interesting. Gary Seven.
Yes,
Ooh.
that would be very good.
Totally do
Actually,
it. Like
yeah,
Man
I'm
from
on board with
Uncle, like that. You can totally do that.
I'm
That's very
well
good.
on board with that. Okay, it is award season at the moment. Look at my seamless transitions. Absolute amazing segues.
I
No one's
accept.
ever folded them. Yes, okay, well done. Congratulations. Awards season. Along with our own awards show, which is happening on the 14th of December, there's been a couple coming up, and one that has just been. The Emmys are coming up. Sorry, the Emmys are coming up. And Prodigy, Star Trek Prodigy, which has just returned back on the air, has been nominated for Best Animated Children's Series Emmy, which I think is a first for Star Trek. And possibly quite good that I think this is getting... I'm happy that Prodigy is getting a lot of traction because I've been really loving this second half of the season so far. It's been quite good. It is aimed at children. We know that. And it's aimed at the sort of like early teens, late things. But I don't know. I find it really good. I don't know about you. I mean, you've
That's
seen
a
the
lot hot.
stars. You've seen the stars. Have you seen it, Shy Auto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's really good because it's really good. That's why.
Must be it.
Yeah.
I've not heard your opinions, Shy, on it. What's your overall thing of Prodigy?
When I initially saw it, my initial reaction was, "Oh, why are these characters acting like this?" Then I remembered it's a children's show, so they have to stumble and learn a lesson as the show goes on. And then after I realized that, I really love the show. And this year, they're actually doing in the second season, they're doing a really interesting arc story. So
Yeah.
it's
a
good
lot of stuff
watching.
going on
Plus,
with
because
Zero.
it's because it's animation, they can do all sorts of fantastical imagery. It's the cinematography and design porn is gorgeous.
I'm still distracted by Chat's idea that we cast Dwayne Johnson as different roles in Star Trek. I'd love to see his range playing like Data or Spock.
I could see him being an android.
The Spock.
The Spock.
Look, Black Adam's is about to hit $500 million just
Dwayne
on the
Spock
back,
Johnson.
just on the back of the Rock's charisma. So don't doubt the Rock.
What would you call that? Fast and Warp Speed 10 or something? I don't know.
What's the Japanese name for Fast and Furious again? It's called like Wild Speed or something like that, which is hilarious.
That's amazing.
It's a really which is like really better than Fast and the Furious, to be real.
That's pretty good. Wild Speed 10, Wild Harder.
I think it might be something like that.
That's right. They refused to even call Tokyo Drift Tokyo Drift. It was just
called
Wild
it
Speed
Drift.
2.
Wild Speed Drift. Do you guys call New York York, or is that just us that calls it New York?
What?
It's just your York.
It's called New York. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, we call it New York,
Okay,
NYC, the city.
Another award coming up as well. Strange New Worlds just won the Saturn Award for Best Streaming Science Fiction, which is, yes, awards are coming in like, this is absolutely fantastic. And Discovery
Now-
also won an award for diversity as well. They won one of the LGBT
Remind
awards
me,
for
who
something
else
as well.
was in the running for that award?
that's a good
Because it would have
question.
been what, maybe Foundation, something like
Let me have a
that.
look.
I'm trying to wondering who the other.
Foundation.
Foundation was okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's the problem. It was just Foundation
For
was
All
one
Mankind, maybe.
of my
have a look.
favorite book series
One Man
growing
Race.
up. So it was
I'm looking at the website now. No, not Doctor
I
Strange.
put you on the spot now, Idle. You have to
You
do
have.
like,
Here,
quick
here we go. So it
research.
was up against. Actually, it's some pretty fierce competition. To be fair, it had The Expanse, which was excellent. For
final
All
season,
Mankind,
yeah.
which I've heard very good things about. Lost in Space, mileage varies.
I've heard good things about that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, which is that's a tough ask.
that's a tough beat.
Hasn't
actually.
hasn't had a new season in like a year. How did that
Well,
one qualify?
Well, technically, the Book of
Well,
Boba Fett,
unless-
if you want to.
If you count the 3 episodes in the middle of the Book of Boba Fett, then
Yeah. The Orville it was up against, and Star Trek Discovery. So it beat all of those for best science fiction series. Actually, that's a lot more impressive.
That's
now
actually
you read them
impressive.
up. Yeah, so very, very
That
happy
is
with that.
actually, yeah.
On all of that on the back of Spock's back and Pike's hair.
You
Spock
thought
back.
back, you pick.
Yeah.
the unshot the unshot sequel to Spock's brain, Spock's back.
Spock's back.
Spock's
Spock's
pecs.
pecs.
Yeah.
Pecs,
I
pecs.
could bounce an idiot off that ass, okay?
Yes, we do have Deep Voice Auto this week. He's got his microphone back. Give us your best in a world.
In a world this summer, one man, one desire. Yeah, I've been sick for like 5. I'm still sick, so if you see me mute and go, it's because I'm trying to
sent me-
work stuff out.
He sent me a message the other day. He's like, quick, page me anything you want me to say. I've got my sick voice. I can make really good logos. I was like, oh, okay.
Plot twist. She just needs a lot of Picard blood injected directly into his veins.
If this bus goes below 70, we're all gonna die. Sorry, you had to be pre-show to get that joke.
Why did you not just say the joke?
No, that's for top tier
We'll get
subscribers. We'll put it on the YouTube.
Yeah, the 4 top tier subscribers.
Footage.
Footage I didn't record. Anyway, we're getting off track. Would you like to know what the conditions are for Kate Mulgrew to return as Janeway in live action?
I know the answer to this, so guys, do you want to...
Do you want to have a guess?
Big
What?
bags of mostly money.
That's probably a factor. Yes. She apparently
Shall I?
wants...
Who are you gonna guess?
Yeah, go on.
Her private wig work? I don't know.
Oh, that's close. That's actually quite close. She wants,
She wants to refilm all the Chakotay scenes from season 7 and have them make sense.
and just have them making out the entire time. Oh wait, no, that's your fan fiction. Sorry. She wants apparently taut stories, adventure, exploration, and no bun of steel. I think she wants her natural hair coming out. But she says, you know.
So she
said
wants more Prodigy.
well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, no, her bun's very tight in Prodigy. Bun,
Is it a bun?
B-U-N. It kind of is. It's there, isn't it? Yeah, maybe. Anyway. Alex Kurtman said, I think it's in discussion. You know, Hollywood, what does that mean? That's like a man saying to you after a date, I'll call you, which sounds like a very very Kate Mulgrew thing to say. Is like, and she says, "I said this to Kurtzman. The writing is going to have to be absolutely exquisite and as tight. I mean, so tight. I want that language to just burst, and I want the story to be so tenuous and taut." And I said, "No languishing. I don't want peaks and
Tenuous.
valleys. I want a Janeway that everybody can say, that's what she become. I'm with her. This is great, right? And I think some sort of extraordinary adventure, even greater than Voyager, even greater than the Delta Quadrant. So pretty much what Picard isn't. It's what she wants. She watched Picard and went, I am not doing that."
So, I am admittedly, and this is a compliment to you three, not as big a nerd as you guys. Would you have any idea what they make for convention appearances?
Oh, God.
Like at Mulgrew's level?
Thousands?
Probably a few
Tens,
grand.
maybe?
Yeah.
Like 50,000 probably at least.
That much, wow.
Because I'm wondering
a
how
large
many,
amount.
like, instead of appearing on a show again, like, if you're happy with the character the way it is, like, could you just go do some more convention appearances?
That's pretty much what they do. I mean,
Well,
this is the
yeah.
recurring
I mean,
trope circuit.
Here's the thing, though, right? Is that like TNG was great. You know, two maybe three of the TNG movies are pretty good. We're going to talk about the last one, and then Picard is. Whereas like Voyager has a lot of rough spots, and Prodigy is pretty good and consistent. So I could kind of see Mulgrew being like, fuck it. If it all goes wrong, then it's not like Voyager was like, amazing all the way through either. I kind of see that logic.
Yeah, but you can make a decent living on the convention circuit. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Like
You just need
there's
one appearance.
no
That's all you need.
No, as I was telling people who I know privately over the Halloween weekend, I met the son of the woman who played Yuta in the Vengeance Factor
Trelesta.
of the Clan Trelesta, and she does the convention circuit. She appeared in a couple Nightmare on Elm Street films. You can dine out
Now,
for the rest of your life.
you know
on
what I
those sort of
want?
things.
If I were her, I would have like a bit where like you can take out. You have to pay a certain amount of money, but then like you get to sit down beside her, like behind her, and then like they do VFX so that she gets disintegrated in front of you while you look on him passionately, just like
Wow.
Picard. That's what I would want.
Yeah, I think we need to start a petition of getting all of us on Star Trek so we can just ride the convention circuit. just one guest star episode. We just stand in the background, and go like the two Muppets that sit in the home's like, what about these guys, eh? I forgot what the was.
God, what's their name? They're named after Waldorf and
Waldorf
Statler.
and-
Yes.
yeah, Statler, that's the one,
Statler,
yeah. Speaking of other elderly
Are we
Star
talking
Trek
about Nemesis yet? That's why I came on the show.
Getting there. That's the only reason he's here. Speaking of elderly elderly Star Trek actors who are possibly looking to extend their careers, it was mentioned recently that there might be life for the Star Trek Next Generation characters after Picard. Obviously, Picard Season 3 is wrapping up the Picard series, but Curtis and McFadden...
Not if your name is Hugh.
Well, no, true. Marina Sirtis and Gates McFadden have been definitely making hints that they'd like to do spin-offs. There has been certain comments from a recent panel that Jonathan Frakes maybe said, maybe not entirely final. So there's definitely been some nudges and some winks to say that maybe Picard might not carry on. Patrick Stewart might not be still filming, but they might still be happening and doing some stuff. So I'm going to be intrigued to see what and who is running it and what kind of stories they're going to tell with this elderly cast.
I'd watch a medical drama with Crusher.
Yeah.
Just take a cue from She-Hulk, which is just a lawyer show, right? Like a Marvel law comedy show. Make a Starfleet medical show with Crusher.
good.
Like
How about a
drama.
medical drama with Worf instead? That would be more
Yeah, that's even
entertaining.
better.
Like House.
We need to
Dr.
cauterize
Wolf,
the
Klingon.
wound.
Can Crusher just be House? I'd watch that.
I would not hate that, actually. I would-
Give her drug
Absolutely.
addiction and a limp, and that's comedy gold.
And a candle. And a sex candle.
Instead of a drug addiction, she's addicted to dance. She just can't stop tap dancing.
Okay, Nifty wins the
True.
entire show with Call of the Midwolf.
Called the Midwolf. Yeah, that's pretty good. Can't
Can we,
lie.
get, can we get CGI Patrick Swayze back for this, by the way? Because I would watch that. No, we were kind of... Well, I was pounding the table early on in... I think probably a few episodes into Picard season 1, I'm like, look, I know Stewart wanted to do 3 and be done, but like, you know, if you build your show around Rios and some of these other characters end up being fleshed out, it's like you could maybe do something, and then they're like, no, we're just going to bring back everyone over 70 and do that instead. So,
which is awesome, but also, yeah, it was a waste of Rios and Jurati, who were like 2 of my favorites in that series. I'm like, oh no, they
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way. Stars, you've been playing the new Star Trek Prodigy game.
Oh, I have.
Supernova. Have you been playing it any more since we last spoke? Because you're kind of the ears on the ground on this one. I played a little bit of it, but not much. But how are you finding it? Because this is like, I think the first new Star Trek game since Star Trek 2000, or the one on the PS3.
tie-in game for the Kelvin game.
Yeah, what was that? 2011 or something like that.
2013, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No, it would have been 2011 this year because it was before Into Darkness. I'm liking it. It has a really thin budget. It does. I was kind of hoping for like not Prodigy level like animation quality cutscenes. Instead, you get animatics. Essentially, it's like when we played Legacy when you had those cutscenes at the end that were just like the comic panels. It's very much like that. That being said, you do have the entire voice cast, and like voice cast of Prodigy is just so good. There's been a few points where it's like, okay, you clearly weren't given enough direction in this scene to kind of properly articulate what's going on, because I imagine it must be slightly different between voice acting for a video game and voice acting for animation, or something, or maybe it just wasn't as tightly done on the game. But there are a few moments where I'm like, this is a well delivered line, however the context makes it weird how you're saying it. Whereas I know that in the show that they just nail every line. So the gameplay is a little bit simplistic. It's definitely for children. Like if you wanted to play this with your son idle, you probably could quite easily. That being said, I did have a peek in the menus, and like you start off with like Dal will like dual wield phasers, and Gwyn will like, use her melee weapon. But I had a look, and you can get other weapons, including a massive fuck-off phaser rifle, and I really want to get that and play around with it. Because I want, like, this small... Like, how old is Dal? Like, maybe 15, 16? I want him running off with, like, just, like, the biggest phaser rifle he can carry. Like, he's an elite force. I want that.
So do you only play Dal and Gwyn? Do you not play anyone else?
Only those two.
There's no opportunity for, say, like, a holographic Worf to come in with his Batleth. Because you do see, he has been to the holodeck, and we have seen legacy cast actors already on Prodigy.
So there are 2 cool little things about that. So you can, basically everyone gets separated due to like transport malfunction, because of course they do, and you go and rescue them, and then they give you special abilities that you can use in combat to basically give yourself buffs or do like certain abilities, and you get to walk around the Protostar, including going into the captain's quarters, which has literally one little like basically collectible from every Star Trek show.
Oh wow. So
you can get a little plushie of the salamander children from Threshold. You can get a model of the DS9. Yeah, it's literally just sitting on Dal's bed, which is hilarious. There's like a Batleth. There's various other bits and pieces, but there's like 10 different like things you can get, and it's like that's pretty funny. That's pretty cute. They're having a lot of fun with that.
Cool.
Is it a souvenir of the worst episode of every series?
Oh, I kind of wish it were, because the one for DS9 is just a model of DS9, kind of like the one in Lower Decks.
I want to say it wouldn't be the representation of the planet Meridian, but you wouldn't see it.
That's the greatest love story since Twilight. I will not sit here and let you besmirch that wonderful episode.
When we get to it on Star Trek in about 13 years' time, I will absolutely be besmirching a lot of Meridian. That is.
By the way, shout out to voice actors who, much like Rodney Dangerfield, get no respect. Like there was that recent brouhaha over Bayonetta's voice actress.
Oh yeah, I was reading.
Getting offered like what $6,000 for the next movie or the next
game,
the sequel game in full, and it's like, come on.
Well,
like,
did you hear the follow-up to that?
Well,
yeah,
most
that's
of these times
there are a lot of non-union actors working.
Yeah.
In voice acting, so they have to rely on the convention circuit actually to make a lot of money.
That's the thing. It's like they think they're, studios think they're replaceable. We'll bring someone else in. You don't have to see them. They like lots of times they'll record everything all in like one sitting or 2 sittings for like hundreds, thousands of lines of dialogue, and it's just There's almost no context. Lots of guys just show up the day of and get like everything they need to know, and a lot of stuff that they don't need to know doesn't get sent their way. So
yeah,
it's like,
no, that is
rough.
absolutely a conversation that needs to happen, because like they need to get better on their unionization and just like actually get paid proper wages. That being said, that situation got really messy when it turned out that she had been offered above the average, and she had just lied about it, which was awkward.
Yeah,
because it made everyone else who was like, who wanted proper wages for everyone, but looked like, oh, we got lumped in with her.
Speaking of Star Trek games, Star Trek Resurgence has been delayed until 2023, or well, an unspecified date. Oh no, sorry, no, it has been specified. April in 2023 to give the game. I'm sorry, I'm reading these articles as I click on them. April 2023, due to just giving it an extra bit.
You work for IGN, like what?
Yeah. Extra polish, extra bit of work, which, to be fair, I think is kind of needed. From watching some of the gameplay demos, there was definitely some frame stutter, some definite gameplay. Seemed like it's like, oh, this needs just a bit extra work. Like, make it look like it wasn't.
Maybe that guy will re-record some of his Spock impressions.
Yeah, that too. That was real bad.
Yeah.
It was like, there were moments I was listening to that.
What?
Go on.
But you should have just leaned into it and gotten Ethan Peck. I'm sure he'd fucking do it.
That would have been, well, yeah. Maybe it's a bit too expensive now. I don't know. Is there any returning guest cast coming back for this?
I don't think so, but it would have made tons. Because here's the thing, right? Like, Ethan Peck is recognizably his own Spock, but fuck me if he doesn't have like Nimoy's cadence down exactly, right? Like, I'd take him over a bad impersonator any day.
There might be some different. There might be some different rights issues though. Like, if they already got Nimoy rights, maybe that would be a little bit different. But
I guess so. Maybe.
Offer him a shirtless scene, and then he'll sign his rights away.
He'll put the contract in between his pecs and then crush them.
So yeah, that's been delayed. So I'm looking forward to that one. Again, another Star Trek game. I kind of hope in between this and Supernova we'll see more Star Trek games. Make Armada 3, Elite Force 3 could be set on Discovery or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a decent RTS game at some point would be quite nice.
What platforms were Resurgence?
I think it's going to be on the lot. I think it's going to be PC, Steam, PS3, PS5. Sorry, that shows my age there. Xbox Series X, all that lot. So I think it will be on everything. Legacy 2. Now that would be a thing.
I wouldn't mind. I'm pretty sure that developer is dead, but as long as I can bring back some of that energy, I'd love it.
Just give me remasters of some of the Microprose games, because all the all the Interplay ones are now on GOG from Armada and Hidden Evil and Elite Force. They're now there, but there's that missing bracket of like Birth of the Federation, Klingon Academy, Final Unity. There's that kind of mid-90s era kind of Trek games, or like late 90s as well. Dominion Wars as well, that was a great game, that are just lost to time a little bit. So I'm kind of hoping someone can get the rights from whoever owns those.
Abandonware.
Yeah, well,
you know what they really should do?
Yeah,
I want like a an adaptation of the Lower Decks tabletop game.
That'd be cool. I mean, that's just Star Trek Adventures, really. But you just need to get J.G.
Yeah, no, but I want to play a video game version of it as well. Yeah, I want J.G. Hertzler doing it. That's what I want. I want Martok voice.
You know what?
I want to be able to go to the options.
Magnificent.
You can change your Chancellor voice, so you can get Gowron, you can get Martok, you can get Laurel. Yeah, get all of them. Why the fuck not? I'd love that. I'd pay out my ear for that.
You know what you should do, because there is the VHS game, isn't there, with Robert O'Reilly in it. I think I need to find a copy of that and see if we can work out some way of playing that, because that could be quite fun. I think there might be a way.
Beige.
yeah, exactly. Where should we move on to? Okay, so a little bit of
Nemesis.
Just wait your moment. A little bit of an Eaglemoss update for those who are not aware. Eaglemoss very recently filed for bankruptcy, and they're the people that made all the little models of the starships that we'd like for extortionate amounts of money, and since they folded, they've been going up for even more extortionate amounts of money. So a bit of good news from Ben Robinson recently, who came out and said, yes, people are looking at the contracts. It's not dead. There is a separate company that is looking at existing subscribers, so for the people that constructed the Enterprise D and only have like half of the saucer section done because the company folded, there are people looking to fill that order back and release some old stock as well. And they're also saying that Star Trek are interested. CBS are very interested in getting a company forward to start producing the models again. So there is hope on the horizon. Hopefully they'll make them a bit cheaper. That's because they are.
I thought the price point was generally fine for the standard size models. The XL ones could be a bit pricey.
Yeah, XL's got a bit much. I mean, it depends what you went for. I mean, you could get like something like the Enterprise B or like the Constellation USS Stargazer for about £15. But then, like, if they decided to kind of go like, well, we're going to launch the Cerritos and it's 50 quid, and I'm like, oh, I want the Cerritos, but that's too much money. And speaking to some of my friends who do 3D printing, and I was saying like, oh, could you 3D print me some models? And they were just like, yeah, we can do that. So I'll send you some model files. Send me a quote. And he said, yeah, we sent. He said, oh, that'll be about 15 quid for the plate. I'm like, oh, that's great. And he was, yeah, that'll be about 5 starships. I'm like, what? That's a lot. So yeah, I think I'm kind of looking at that kind of. Maybe I'll get my friends to 3D print them and I'll paint them instead. That might be a lot cheaper. And then I can sit in my room going, yeah, like I do every evening. My son keeps looking at them and go, Daddy, can I play with them? No, you must. They must not be touched. They are toys, but they are not toys. You cannot do it.
That Playmobil set for him, you monster.
Oh, I want that for myself. That looks so good. I should add that to my wish list. No, that Klingon Bird of Prey Playmobil set. Oh my god, like that's ridiculous.
Ask your wife. Get it for you for Christmas.
I've just been telling her to turn the heating off. I don't think she'll appreciate me coming around like, turn the heating off so you can afford me good shit.
So,
Freeze for my benefit.
Shaw, you are the master of props. Do you actually have any ship models, though?
No, I have an Excelsior. I have the old Diamond Select Excelsior
Nice.
model. Yeah. And I got that because when I was working on my little Captain Sulu series, I was going to try to do practical effects for it. So
Chat says you have the Proton rocket ship. Is that correct?
Well, yes, as featured in our Captain Proton Star Trek Adventures game. That was just a printed out picture of Captain Proton ship on a taped to a chopstick, which actually works incredibly well.
That's exactly what they used in Voyager 2, though. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Nifty says, it was real to me. Yes, our very own Chaotica chiming in there. Super 7, the company making Star Trek models, not to be confused with EXO because they're a different one. Seems there are a lot of companies coming out and they've got Star Trek license to produce action figures again. There's sort of big resurgence of this.
Yeah, CBS remembered, hey, we like making money.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot. And they are releasing with, I think, the first 4, the new line of the TNG Ultimates Wave 1. I think they're really getting into that collector's card market where everything comes in seasons. But the first wave features, is a pretty typical Riker, a pretty typical Data. There's also Guinan with a phaser and Locutus of Borg.
Nice.
And I'll see if I can bring up a picture on the stream. Obviously, for podcasting, this isn't going to work so well, but I will bring up. Just these look pretty good. Nothing works. Hang on. Let me go over here. No, go away, Princess Thalia. Nothing works because I am doing this professionally.
What is this, a timeline show? Get that off my screen.
Yes, why was that there?
Here we go. This is ripped straight from the source. This is the action figures themselves, and they look pretty good, actually. I've seen some bad Star Trek action figures.
Yeah.
Like, I'll zoom these in a little bit as well. There we go.
You know what? I will say that's a really good likeness for that Guinan, although that is the wrong outfit for her to be wearing, I'm pretty sure.
Is it really? Oh, yeah, she has more of the flat hat, doesn't she?
Well, because that's the outfit that she wears in Q-Who. But she doesn't have the space rifle in that.
I think that's Henry Cavill as Riker. That's not...
there you go. There it is. That's what he should be playing.
That's the alien blaster she keeps behind the bar, right?
Yeah, but she didn't have that when she was doing the... I don't know.
I've said that.
Although, can I just say...
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, Locutus has his fucking Mega Buster going. That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Detachable. You can replace it with like a Nerf gun or something. So they're coming out at some
I've got a question for you guys.
Go on.
So, Trek is a pretty rich tapestry, right? It's been going for 60 years. Is there a single character that does not have an action figure that you would want to, and why?
Lon Suda? Does he have one? He must have one. There must be a Lon Suda.
I have zero knowledge of the action figure community, so...
Does
they
Gary
just go
7? Does Gary 7 have an action
I
figure?
doubt Gary 7 has one.
There's a Lon
Chat
Suda.
says Mott the Barber.
Mott. Let's have a look. No, I don't think there is a Mott. No,
I'm mottily shocked.
no,
I
there's no Mott.
I do want civilian Tuvok's clothes from Starship Mine. Like, if you're gonna have a Tuvok figure
There was a
anyway, you may
Tosk.
as well print some extra clothes for him.
Tosk and his hunters do exist as figures.
Oh, that's cute.
Which
I
was
think-
civilian Tuvok. Let's have a look.
Yeah, see what Tuvok's got going. Because I think there was a really strong line of Voyager figures back in the 90s.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, there's
Heavily
quite a good
merchandised.
lot here. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a civilian Tuvok.
Dude, whenever we talk about Tim Russ now, I think about that story he told when they had, you remember during COVID, like all these celebrities and shows are doing these get-togethers online because you couldn't do it in person. They were telling stories in this. He told the story about the episode where he's supposed to show up naked on the bridge because he's in a dream and he doesn't realize
Yeah.
it. So Russ went to the prop department and gave him because he was wearing something obviously around the waist. He went to the prop department and asked for them to fill a sock for him. So he walked onto the bridge with this giant bulge to try to see how many of the actors could break, and of course they all broke. So whenever we talk about Tim Russ now, I can't help but think about that story.
You can't stop thinking of Tim Russ's massive sock bulge.
Yes,
It
exactly.
happens to us all.
So is there an action figure of that?
Somehow doubt it.
Can there be? That
Yes,
would
Jack
make-
yes.
was a common ass figure, which I
We only,
respect.
we only pull that one out every 7 years, so but it does exist.
That's Tim Russ's Vulcan hello.
Yeah, never seen him interact. He's never really interacted with Balana that much, has he?
Okay.
Anyway,
Let's move on.
who likes Star Trek related podcasts that isn't this one? Or maybe Star Trek podcasts that are hosted by actual Star Trek people. So, yeah, there you go.
How dare you? Shy is a real Star Trek person. We're not,
sorry.
but he is.
How about in canon, referenced in Memory Alpha? Then, sorry,
Yeah. there we go.
You don't have
memory beta.
an article? You must have.
Memory Beta. You should
Maybe
have.
a memory beta. Memory beta.
Yeah,
maybe, but
Beta you
not,
definitely should have. I don't know. Well, we'll have a look at it. Shuttlepod 1, the show hosted by Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, is returning, coming soon to podcasts near you if you're subscribed, or to their YouTube channel. But their first guest, because they've been getting a lot of former Enterprise guests on, including Rick Berman and Brandon Braga as well. There's some interesting interviews with them if you've not seen them. Their first guest coming back is Walter Koenig. It's going to be
Nice.
on. So that I am actually really intrigued, because I can't imagine that Walter Koenig's watched a lot of Enterprise, but he might surprise us. So I'll be kind of intrigued to see how much he knows. But I don't think I've not seen many interviews with Walter Koenig. That might just be me.
He's
No, I
great.
can't think
I,
of-
I saw him speaking at Trek Ticonderoga like a few years back. He's very blunt, very upfront about his opinions about
Excellent.
Trek and other cast members. So it's a fun talk.
Oh, who could you possibly be talking about? Everyone on the TS classes is so nice.
William Shatner was like a father to me. He took me into his heart. He made me the man that I am today.
He taught me how to do the Russian accent, which explains a lot. Investigate.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
sorry, go on.
It's not sabotage. It's sabotage. Come on, Chekhov. You gotta.
Need to put that in the triggers, actually. Investigates, Gates McFadden's very own podcast, who has a lot of luminaries
yeah.
from Star Trek's returning as well. That is coming back too. I haven't listened to it, but I've heard very, very good things about Investigate. Have you guys heard that one?
It's a good title.
I should do, really. Yeah, it's a pretty good title.
Investigate. I mean, it just rolls off the tongue. It's so good.
I know that she did a show with like one of the episodes with Will Wheaton, and I think she was talking about Labyrinth a lot. And I should watch that, listen to it rather, because I fucking love Labyrinth, and I want to absorb as much trivia about that movie as I possibly can.
I have not
No
seen
one,
it.
no one gives. Wow, fuck you, fucking reprobates! I hate you all.
I love Labyrinth too.
Thank
Labyrinth
you.
is a great movie.
Thank you.
It's got David Bowie in it. I'll
Shine,
watch it.
you and I, let's make Labyrinth talks, right? Then we'll get it going. It'll be a limited part series.
I thought you were going to go
People
with
to
some
the
more
good
Trek
words.
connections with Labyrinth, but was Will Wheaton in Labyrinth? Because I know Gates was, but
No, but he has a massive crush on the original choice for Sarah, the protagonist, which is the connection.
Right. There it is.
There's a 94% chance Shy comes back on with like a prop or costume related to Labyrinth.
I'm hoping it's a David Bowie bulge. I'm hoping so.
He comes back with David Bowie.
David Bowie.
I've listened to a lot of Bowie lately. David Bowie. Well, I'll wait. Shall I wait for Shy to come back before I do this next little bit before we talk about things? Oh,
Talk about Nemesis.
In a
Nemesis?
In a minute. Someone else has expressed their interest. I should have mentioned this back when we were talking about Janeway. Someone else has been on the horn saying, I'd like to come back and play a key character, and it's one that's been very vocal and fairly a patron of the show itself. Robert Picardo has been talking to various people about talking, and there were rumors he was going to come back for season 2 of Picard, which never panned out because people were hoping he would come back and talk to Seven, which would have been an interesting conversation. But a lot of people saying like, well, how can you play a younger, the holographic Doctor who doesn't age? And I think he just turned round and went, I'd just be Zimmerman. Why can't I be Doc Zimmerman and coming back?
An easy one.
You can say the Doctor's doing whatever, but you can definitely come back as a progenitor and not do the kind of Q thing where he did in season 2. He just went, "Oh, you're so old, Jean-Luc. Snap! Now I'm old too."
I could see the EMH giving himself an aging program to make himself a little bit more human. I could see him adding that to his program.
You just do it, man. Like, all right, where's the Bowie?
Where's the Bowie bulge?
No, I have it, but it's, we're not in portrait. Not in portrait
just show up older. Like, this is a different era. Everyone's online. Everyone knows the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
We're a little bit smarter television viewers than we were back then. Like, you can do it. They did it with Q. Spiner's been all over Picard, so it's like just do it. And
the Doctor would completely
Yeah, you can explain it away as a hologram or an omnipotent being or whatever. It's part of the program. Go for it.
Yeah. In all good things, like Data puts a white streak in his hair to make himself look more distinguished. Of course, the Doctor would do that.
He'd hate
Makes him look like a skunk.
To be fair to Picardo, he doesn't look like he's aged that much. You could definitely the little bits here and there wrinkles, but like of all the actors, like some actors look completely different. Some actors sound completely different. Like Patrick Stewart's voices and his manner of speaking is completely different in Picard from TNG and especially from Nemesis. So
well, that's partly an acting choice as well.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely ways through it.
He's actually 47 still, but they asked him to act older, and so
that does sound like a Picardo joke, actually. Final thing.
Did you ever see the?
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, you ever see the Star Trek fan film, Star Trek Renegades, that Picardo was on?
I've seen bits. Is that the one with Walt Koenig? He's the captain, or is that one a different one? Yeah,
he's the admiral. Like Walt Koenig comes back as Admiral Chekhov, and yeah, a lot of these Trek actors want to come back and do Trek. You can tell it because they jump into these fan films. Before
Tim Russ was in one of those Trek came as well, wasn't he?
Tim Russ was in
Garrett Wang,
in a bunch of them. Nichelle Nichols. Yeah,
but Picard has been doing Trek adjacent stuff. Like, he never stopped. He's doing stuff on his own without like incentive on his own YouTube channel, and then Cameo and Orville and stuff like that. Obviously there's money involved, but it's still like you don't go and do all that stuff if you there's plenty of actors who are like, I don't want to have anything to do with Trek, and like that's okay, but you can tell which ones those are and which ones they aren't. So
R.I.P. Jolene Blalock, we miss you. We apologize for Rick Berman.
Come back, Jolene.
It'll be like a cultural zenith where all the celebrities want to get in, and eventually Charlize Theron will be in Star Trek somewhere. Like, she was already in the Orville, so it's only a matter of time. She's in everything.
You know what? You want to talk about recast? Charlize Theron as Tasha Yar.
Yeah, interesting.
Or Sela, either one.
Sela would be better, I think. I think that would.
Did you not like Denise Crosby?
I like Denise Crosby a fair bit, but it's obviously the case of if you were going to do because we were talking about reboots, right? If you were going to do like a Kelvin style reboot, and you were talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson's Picard, like something a bit more appropriate.
Oh my god. Okay. TNG, bad TNG casting for Kelvinverse. Before we go into Nemesis, like
only bad.
I want to see like
Aw.
Not your Zachary Quintos or Chris Pines. I want to see like who.
Andy Dick as Thomas Riker.
As Thomas, fine. Yeah, as long as he gets.
I think he has the machismo to pull it off. I think he could really.
No, him as Wesley Crusher.
I was gonna say
Tom
Kevin
Green
Hart
as Wesley
Will
Crusher.
Wheaton. Tom Green? Oh god, don't
Yes.
even.
Oh, Timothy Chalamet's not a bad shout as Wesley. Actually, he might actually be able to do it.
No, wrong answers only. Come
Oh,
on,
sorry.
Trace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
wrong
good
answer,
cat. That's
yeah.
good
That's
casting.
good casting.
Dare
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Danny
We're gonna,
DeVito
like,
as
ask for-
Picard. It's also good
Yeah,
casting.
You're gonna have Daniel Day-Lewis as Picard now.
Wesley Snipes as Worf.
No, that's too good.
Yeah, okay.
Some Romulan's always gonna try the fucking like ice skate uphill, man. No, Kevin Hart as Worf. There you go, easy.
Kevin Hart. No.
That's an easy bad one. Yeah.
I would watch that. I would
Yeah.
actually watch that quite well.
That's the trick. That's the trick with the
No,
really
see-
bad casting. You still go and see it.
Yeah.
The thing is, yeah. So they cast Kevin Hart, but then to make him appear normal height, they have to cast everyone else shorter. So we get Danny DeVito and
Brilliant. What was his name that plays Tyrion in Game of Thrones?
Peter Dinklage
Peter Dinklage. Yes.
as Picard.
as
Sure.
Beverly Crusher.
Boo says Matt Smith as Worf. That's weird. That's a bad one. Jim Carrey as Data, I think, would be quite cool.
You know what?
Actually,
Here's the thing, though. Jim Carrey can actually knock it out of the fucking park in
Yeah.
a serious emotional role. Like Truman Show is the obvious one everyone goes for, but fucking Eternal Sunshine of
Eternal
the Spotless Mind's
Sunshine, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Fucking love that
And he's
movie.
great as Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic films. I love
Oh,
him
he's
in that.
hilarious. He's so good.
All right, you guys have been itching at the bit to talk about this film. Star Trek Nemesis, the final appearance of the Star Trek TNG cast back in 2002 was
Duty. A captain's life is filled with solemn duty.
released. I think it was explained at the time as this is going to be the TNG's Wrath of Khan. This was going to be the explosive finale to. I remember reading that. I mean, when I was young and used to get the Star Trek magazine, reading like this is going to be TNG's Wrath of Khan. First look, the Romulans are coming back, and I'm like, yes, it's the Romulans. Oh wow, look at the.
Can I ask a
XYZ.
question?
Hello, go on.
Has there ever been a successful movie that has like started off as this is going to be blank's version of blank?
I mean, Into Darkness did the same thing as well. So
Yeah, and
let's
guess
say
what? That was
no.
also fucking heinous, wasn't it?
Oh, where do we start with this?
You know what did fucking Riker say? Don't try and be a great man, just be a man and let history make its own judgments.
Man,
Fucking
that's a
tell
good
that to a
writing.
Hollywood executive and watch their fucking head explode.
Now I kind of want to see Ricardo Montalban as Picard. Like
We said bad casting. Bad casting.
no, I'm serious. Like to see him play like a virtuous character, but with the whole.
That's called Fantasy Island. It's
Well,
on
it's like
streaming.
Picard's like Captain Shares made out of the Corinthian leather.
Yeah, with Peter Dinklage as look, boss, they playing.
Oh, it is terrible.
I'm sorry. I want to talk about Nemesis and then I backtrack us. My fault.
Look, for real.
Look, this movie fails the way that the other two mediocre Next Generation Star Trek films fails, in that it introduces
How dare you?
it introduces the cast with like a ceremony. Like it happens in TNG with the promotion ceremony. It happens
Generations,
in Insurrection. Yeah, thank you.
With the
It
diplomacy,
happens in
yeah.
Insurrection with the diplomacy thing, and here it's a wedding. You know, the kind of started off the assassination at the beginning started off okay, although the Romulan actors are subpar. Aside from Dina Meyer and Tom Hardy.
Yeah, can we also talk about like a massive tonal whiplash, right? Like, cool opening, starting off with the assassination of the Romulan Senate. That's cool. We've never seen the Romulan Senate. We get to see Romulus. That's cool. And then you kill him off, and then it's like, and here's Picard giving a speech. And it's like,
Bring back
Really?
Senator
In Berlin.
Talora. Senator Talora.
have you heard of tonal consistency? It's kind of important, really. Fucking.
It actually starts
Where
the
do we
same way
even
as
start with
the
this
Phantom
movie?
Menace does as well, because they talk about, well, as you know, the
Yeah,
Reman mines have
it
not been
really-
filling their quotas for months now. The
It really
Galactic
fucking
Trade
did feel
Federation
like
has
Phantom
embarked.
Menace. Ugh.
Yeah. So, do you know what? No one can fault the director, surely. Surely they can't, right? Not with
Yeah,
this
can.
guy's list of accreditations. So, the director for this, Stuart Baird, however you say that, known for directing not much else, but was actually an editor, so someone responsible for how a film's tone and, you know, the shape and how it plots together well, was the editor for a lot of pretty good films, which I think when we were reading this through pre-show, Shah, you were quite disgusted. The fact that the person
Yes.
that...
No, because he was editor on Lethal Weapon 2, Die Hard 2, Casino Royale, Skyfall. The guy, the last action hero, you know, however you feel about that, but the guy has edited good action
it's a
movies.
cultural touchstone. Thank you very much.
Right.
Rogue
He's
One as well.
edited good action. He's edited good action movies. He's seen good action movies, but the action, the physical, like the man-on-man, person-on-person action.
Yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more about Man on Man.
That's right.
Getting hot
In Nemesis is terrible. The one good thing we talked about in the pre-show is the starship battles are actually really pretty good
So
in this
good.
movie. Like
Pretty
Zero
good.
elevation phaser fight, so good.
See, I had that ruined for me because I was told that the original version of that scene, it wasn't going to be the Enterprise and the two Valdor style warbirds. It was going to be that Federation fleet that you see come up on the display in Astrometrics or Stellar Cartography, or whatever the fuck they call that weird dark mood room that they're sitting in.
yeah.
It's not Stellar Cartography from Generations. It's
We call that
like
the movie
six-
budget room.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that. Like, this movie looks cheap as well. There's like a list of like 6 Starfleet ships. It's like I way prefer like Starfleet design iconography and stuff like that. It's like the idea of having 6 and then plus the Enterprise versus the Scimitar. That weighs way more convincing to me. And the instance I got told that, I was like, oh, that would have been better. And now I look at this and I'm like, yeah, this is good. But it's like a kind of a poison chalice where I'm like, yeah, I guess it's fine. It's okay, I guess.
I actually did like it because a big part of the plot is that he's it's a coup. He's overthrowing the Romulans.
Yeah.
So just to have the Federation sweep in and take care of an internal matter of the Romulans doesn't really flow
Yeah.
as well to me. So plus more Denatra on my screen. So
Yeah, Denatra is one of the few actual bright spots of the entire movie. She gives a good, convincing performance, and I don't know. You could say that maybe it kind of forges the path for some of the more sympathetic Romulans that we get in Picard and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Some of that energy gets brought forward. It's one of the few good things about this movie.
Yeah, she wears her
something I-
couch fabric very well.
Well, they don't have the shoulder pads of steel anymore, so that was a massive improvement on its own. So there's something about this movie that I absolutely hate, right? Idle, can you do me a favor?
Go on.
Open up the Wikipedia pages for the TNG movies and tell me what the budgets for each of them were.
Oh,
Because-
Lord. Okay, hang on.
There was a scene, it's the scene where they're talking about Thalaron radiation.
damn, a lot of
like,
mechanical
it's a-
keyboards in this group.
I know, right? We just like the clickety clack, okay? And it's a decent enough scene. You get some Star Trek techno babble. It still establishes the stakes, like, oh, you could wipe out the entire quadrant with this kind of stuff. And then all I could pay attention to was looking in the back, and I'm like, this isn't sickbay. This looks like shit. This is a grey room with some really generic beds and like 1 or 2 Star Trek logos on the back. This is not normal sickbay.
remember
This
that
doesn't
scene,
look
yeah.
half as convincing as the TV show set that you borrowed for First Contact.
I've
Why
got the
does it look
budgets.
so cheap? Okay, so run me through the budgets. How much is
Okay.
Generations?
In order, and also production order. Generations, 35 million.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, they reused a lot of sets and costumes for that one.
Yeah.
First Contact, 45 million, and that's probably like the
Yeah.
most egregious, like we're making everything new on this. Insurrection
Yeah.
was 58 million.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And oh wait, it gets better. Star Trek Nemesis, 60 million. Would you like to know?
What?
60
What are they
million on this
spending
film.
it on?
No, so profitability.
Fucking.
Would you like to know how much profit they made? So profits of Star Trek Generations, 337%. First Contact, 324%. Insurrection, 194%. And Nemesis, 112. So it made, like, it was cost more to make and didn't make as much money. But yeah, they put more money into Nemesis. I'm going to presume a lot of that was Tom Hardy being convinced to get into so much leather.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even
Generally-
leather. It's like shitty looking latex. Like it's so cheap looking.
Yeah, generally they say that a Hollywood movie has to make 3 times its budget to make its money back because of when you're taking advertising and distribution.
Which is probably why there was such a long gap
this
between
is-
Insurrection and Nemesis, because they went to Nemesis and just went.
Right.
Insurrection just went. Thum.
Yeah, this is the lowest. I believe this is the lowest grossing Star Trek movie.
I think so. Yeah.
It deserves to be, yeah.
So, before we get too far away from the directing, one thing that I noticed, for better for worse, like I kind of wish I hadn't noticed it, but the progression of Shinzon physically, like they definitely highlight his deteriorating condition, and then the condition of the Enterprise throughout the battle, you know, as it goes from stellar, classy or whatever it is, Enterprise E2, like the kind of damage you'd expect by the end of Voyager, basically, that they should have taken over 7 years in the Delta Quadrant. So they do a good job with that. You know, we watched the first half right before the show, and there's pacing issues, there's plot issues, there's all sorts of issues, but I do like at least the way that they show that progression.
Yeah. Okay. You all know what else is something fucking astounding. So I made a mental note to check this out before me and Otto watched this, and I was like, okay, I need to do this. Who is the composer on this? Do you guys know?
I did know, because it's not a bad theme song. Actually. It's not a bad soundtrack.
Jay
Is it
Chataway.
is it also Stuart Baird?
No. Here's the thing. I'm going to say the name, and you're going to be like, what?
Go on.
It's Jerry fucking Goldsmith.
Yeah.
You
The
can't
soundtrack is
tell,
good.
can you?
No, the soundtrack's
I
quite
like
good.
Not
the-
actually. It's
I
not
like
that
it.
good.
I liked it.
Compared to
But it's not-
Insurrection or First Contact, like no, it's not that good. I
But it's not-
don't even like it as much as Generations.
It's not actively bad though. I don't find this. That's the least thing I notice about this movie. But your comment on cheapness is absolutely dead on. Like from the dune buggy chase to the
Oh, yeah.
strange space dune buggy chase in the hallways of the scimitar. I don't understand.
The Argo was pre-dented. We watched that, like the
Yes,
panels had,
I saw
like,
the same thing.
golf
I saw
ball
the same
dents in
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone
It's
that
like,
you
it
took completely
reminded me-
fucked up on the manufacturing.
Yeah. It reminded me of like 80s sci-fi attempt at vehicles. Like when you go watch
Yeah.
Total Recall,
Yeah.
like all the cars, the futuristic cars on Mars that just have like some like fiberglass panels stuck to the side of them.
No, but here's the thing: the Argo scene would be so much better if you looked on the front seat and there was Johnny Cab. You know, like they get their
There
Rob
was.
Ricardo in to reprise the role.
There was Johnny Cab. They literally stuck him in the armrest in the middle of the thing, and he
yeah.
was talking like Johnny Cab.
Why does that man have a furry face? Stars, tell me your outrage with Worf.
So I don't know if I mentioned this to Water, so I'm going to ask: do you guys know the egregious thing that they did with Worf in this movie?
I didn't until you told me pre-show.
Yeah,
I did-
I forgot I
yeah.
did tell you. So if you listen really closely, his voice is wrong. Now this is this is a thing that like Michael Dorn's talked about at length, which is that after 7, 10, fucking probably even longer years of doing the Worf voice, his like voice has noticeably and like irrevocably changed. Like it's physically caused his voice to lower because that is just his default way of speaking now. Kind of in the same way where like this part of his face here, where the spirit gum for the prosthetics would be applied, is also like I think the skin tone on it is slightly different from the rest of his face.
Gosh.
And they decided, Stuart Baird, who knows fucking nothing about Star Trek, there's a few other behind-the-scenes stories that are like, wow, you fucking knew shit all, didn't you?
Stuart Abrams.
Yeah, basically. Abrams liked Star Trek more than Baird did, I'm convinced.
Oh, absolutely.
He lowered Worf's modulation on his voice. Like, there's no normal... Normally, it's just like Michael Dorn's normal speaking voice, right? And they're like, no, we have to make this character that has been on screen for 14 years and is something of a screen icon, and we have to lower his voice to make him seem more alien. And then this motherfucker, Mr. Stuart Baird, turns around and talks to like LeVar Burton. He says, "Hey, Laverne, your character's an alien, right? Because you got the funky eyes." It's like, no, you fuck. My name is Geordie LaForge. I've been on TV. Do you not know who I am? And he's like, no, I'm an asshole. I directed U.S. Marshals. Get a load of this. Fucking cunt. Oh,
That's an actual transcript of the conversation that took place.
That's right. We're reading it verbatim.
yeah, exactly.
But he did edit Casino Royales, and he was a big Bond
He
fan.
edited
Must say that.
Superman. He edited Superman. He edited Superman 2. This guy should know better. He should know better.
He
but
should know better.
He doesn't.
Yeah, Garrick, I had the same thought. It sounded like he had a cold or something, but it's like...
Yeah. Because that's the thing. It doesn't sound more alien. It sounds wrong. It sounds like he's sick.
It's just all those all
So
like
lame.
Romulan ale, you know, should be illegal.
Yeah, just hanging around in this system for years.
Okay, bonus points for those who can tell me who was asked to attend Troy and Riker's wedding, but the actor didn't do it.
Oh, I know this one. But you guys give
Go
it a
on.
shot.
Well, I know this one too, so it's good.
I heard this and forgot it, so that's all three of us.
God damn it. It's Jerry Ryan, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would have been so awful. I'm so glad she stuck
Yeah.
to her guns and said no.
Yeah, she
Because that would have been so fucking off-piste to do that.
she basically said, "I don't know why I would be there. I don't know these people." In so many words.
Dude, even in the 24th century, people would just want wedding gifts. They just invite everyone they can.
What would Seven give them? Like,
A cortical node, obviously.
yeah, of course, yes. Something awkward about human lovemaking rituals or something. That Riker would raise his eyebrows at, and Troy would shun.
They invited Kivas Fajo to the wedding to show there were no hard feelings over the failed Hytridium sale.
That won't do well.
And obviously, Will Wheaton was at the
God.
wedding as well, very briefly.
Yeah, he has no lines in the theatrical cut.
He looked really young, though, comparatively. I think it's the facial hair, because
Yeah,
he was
he's
clean-shaven there.
Ageism, but
To tell me, when you first watched this, I remember when I first watched this, and I was quite hyped, and I got through a lot of the film before I realised it was fairly trash. But the start of the film is pretty decent. It's not bad. You've kind of got your Romulan.
it's all front-loaded,
Senate.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you got your cool wedding scene with Picard actually being quite humorous, and then you get Picard sitting in his office, and lo and behold, Admiral Janeway's on the screen, and just like, yeah, this is great. Where's the Voyager movie? Where's the DS9 movie? Come on. I was quite hyped to see Janeway in that, but I was very disappointed she didn't get more to do. That would have been.
Thought it was a fun bit of continuity, and like, I appreciate it because, like, hey, she's fucking earned a bit of peace. I wouldn't want to see the inside of a starship for a long time if I'd been stuck in the Delta Quadrant for 7 fucking years. God
How'd you
damn it.
like to go to the Romulan homeworld? With or without the rest
With
of
or
the
without the
fleet?
rest of the fleet. Yeah, there you go. That's a pretty fun exchange. Yeah, good chemistry.
So here's my trivia for the three of you. Whose DS9 era uniform was she wearing in that that appearance?
Was it?
I don't think we know this for sure. I think you're just guessing.
I looked it up before we started.
Oh, really? It's
look at
confirmed?
that.
Fuck, okay.
But Otto is less of a nerd than us.
That's why I do all my homework in minutes before we go live.
Were there? I mean, I'm going to assume it was taken from one of the cast and not a random admiral, because I don't remember any female admirals in DS9 wearing that uniform. Because all I can think is
does look
Admiral
really
Ross.
ill-fitting on it. I was thinking Admiral Ross, actually, because it's an Admiral uniform in red.
Well, they just brought the shoulders in a bit, maybe, because he's quite broad, isn't he?
Is it definitely a DS9 Admiral?
You have a guess, Shy?
I was just going to guess that it was Gen Zia's, and they just stuck a red shirt on her and like drew some epaulets on it or
That's
something.
not bad.
I was bluffing. I have no idea where they got it from, so...
See,
Yes!
I begged Idol. I begged Idol to turn the camera on a half hour before we started recording because there was
Fucking
so
guy.
much good material happening, and now there's this bit happening. But no,
All right.
Oh my god.
So, the wedding happened. Admiral Janeway happened. And let's skip ahead.
Mr.
and
Troy,
Mr.
which is one of
Troy
the few funny
happened, and
lines.
I'll be in
Yeah.
the gym happened, which was a
Yeah.
great line. We're all happy with this film right now. Tell us, where did this fall off the cliff?
Okay. This is not where I fell off. I'm just going to jump ahead and do my worst moment of the movie. I'm just going to read to you from the transcript.
Oh gosh.
It was
Cool
after
scene.
it was after Troy again was mind raped by Shinzon and the Viceroy. So this happens. She goes with her husband Riker to sickbay and gets examined by Crusher. So Picard's there. He goes, Deanna, can you describe it? It was a violation. Shinzon's Viceroy seems to have the ability to reach into my thoughts. I become a liability. I request to be relieved of my duties. Permission denied. If you can endure more of these assaults, I need you at my side now. Okay, Picard, like, we hold up, right, as the, like, one of the idealized captains. Wow, he's tough but fair, and he can empathize with people, and he always does the right thing. She just got raped by a Romulan and a Reman, and she's like, could I have 5 minutes to collect myself? He's like, permission denied. If you can endure more of this...
I want to
knows-
see you on the bridge sorting TPS reports, or the whole affair is off.
Dude, he knows more might be coming, and he's like, no, you still have, if you can endure it. And so for the whole rest of the movie, every time they show her face, she doesn't want to be there. She's like in pain, she's like suffering.
I mean,
and like
that could
this,
just be
you know,
Marina
we get-
Sirtis at the time. Like,
No,
that could
look.
just be her after talking to Berman for 5 minutes.
It could be the costume.
No, we give her crap for like the I sense things, I empath thing, but she actually did a really good job of looking completely uncomfortable for the rest of the
Well,
movie.
she has
so.
probably the line of the movie for me, which is like, I actually really appreciate the one bit from the ship battle where like everything goes silent and stops, and then they use the telepathic scanning trick.
The Ouija board.
Well, I dig it because it's like it's so rare you get to see telepaths use their abilities for tactical gain in Star Trek. It's so rare for them
Right.
to actually do that, even though it makes so much sense that you'd be able to do that. Like,
I think that's the
is
inner
this-
STA player in you coming out.
Well,
No,
a little
no,
bit,
I agree.
maybe.
Yeah, it was. She had her wedding ring hand on top of Worf's. You know,
Yeah, and I look at that
said
intimacy
before-
because they used to date and
Yeah.
they're still quite good friends.
Exactly.
And it's like she feels secure enough around him to do that. And it's like that. There's something really cool and tense and submarine battle about it. And then she gets her moment of remember me, and then it's all pointless anyway because it turns out we got their secondary shielding down to 70%. Fuck off.
So Marina Sirtis has
But
openly
it's the next
criticised
moment.
this film by saying it sucked less than Insurrection, exact quotes, and calls Stuart
Wait,
Baird an
less?
idiot.
Less.
Yes,
Less?
Apparently, according to,
she did
What?
Insurrection.
Marina, yeah. So this is apparently
How could she?
on the Marina Sirtis scale of Star Trek films. This is better than Insurrection, which I feel this is the
Marina
only
Sirtis-
scale we have.
She has more to do in this movie
Yeah.
than she does in Insurrection. So
Probably that's why she liked
But,
it more.
yeah, that's very generous. It's very generous of you to say that's when the movie started sucking, because I think this movie started sucking from the first minute of
No, I'm not saying that's when it started
Hmm.
sucking. That was just like the low point of the movie to me.
Oh, that's the point. Yeah, that's possible. That's
Yeah.
entirely-
Yeah,
I think.
go on.
I think the moment for me, I think Otto remarked upon it. It's kind of on the same vein, but it's when they're in that stupid open glass window room that exists purely so that they have a room thing for the little scorpion attack fly to fly out of in the action scene later. Completely pointless. That's one of those instances where someone says, "Oh, it's so stupid how the view screen exposed on the bridge on the top of the ship. It's just a tactical weakness." I'm like, "Shut up, it's fine. It never happens." And then they fly that shit out of there, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's a tactical weakness. You get that. Look at that." But it's that moment when he comes down and he's like, all this I knew, but I never knew that Deanna Troi was so beautiful. And it's like,
Yeah. That opening moment with just anything that Tom Hardy as Shinzon says, creaking his way down the staircase as the leather tries to escape his body. Like any part of that scene was just like, you're supposed to be a young Patrick Stewart? And I didn't buy. As soon as that happened, I was just like, I'm now not buying any of this. Who was doing this to this? What's happening? Am I in a fever dream?
So, two big complaints. One, this movie is completely not self-aware. Like, it falls for every bad trope, every bad mustache-twirling villain trope. And complaint number two is there's a lot of scenes that don't add anything to the story. Like, when he stops and talks to Picard, like, are you trying to throw him off? Your ship is 80 times stronger than his. You're going to blast him away anyway. Like, the rape scene, what does that even add? Does that add anything to, like, it's supposed to make you dislike him more or something? I don't get it.
So that's something amazing, right? Is that, like, Shinzon is fucking around. He's talking to Picard and having, like, Califal and water and talking about, like, oh, well, the Picard's always warriors. And then he has, like, a random rape scene with Troy.
Warriors.
And then a random Riemann has to walk on set and remind him to advance the plot because it hasn't moved in half an hour. It's like,
No, you guys, you don't understand. All right. You see, Stuart Baird studied film. And he's seen a movie called
Kindness
Yeah.
I Ever Knew.
Yes, that's right. He studied a film called Nosferatu. It's a black and white movie. It's very artsy. You understand? It's a reference to Nosferatu, right? Because the Remans are like vampires, and Shinzon is trying to suck the blood out of Picard. See, they're from the darkness.
fuck off!
Don't you get it?
Fuck off!
Because they look like Nosferatu.
Oh. Okay.
This is a very
You know
bad
what?
movie.
Yeah, I joke that this is the plot of Speed, where if he doesn't get enough Picard blood to drink, like the whole ship is going to explode or something.
So here's the thing, right? There's an actual really big structural flaw with this movie, and it actually undercuts one of the few things that's good about it, right? Because one of the few good things about Nemesis is that it introduces the Remans. Now, Remus has been a part of Star Trek canon since the 1960s, right? Like, it was always an inference that it was Romulus and Remus. I'm pretty sure that's on the star charts and Balance of Terror. But you never heard any reference to it. We went to Romulus multiple times, never any reference to the Remans, and then they get established here, and it's like, oh, these are the people that make it, like, feasible for the Romulan Star Empire to exist, because fuck knows the Romulans aren't going to do all the hard shit. They aren't going to do any dynasty mining. That's not the way they work. They have a slave race that does it all for them. Makes sense. You know, it's fine. But the problem is, you have decided to use your final TNG movie shot. Like, you have one shot at this, at the final one, and you're finally going to tackle the Romulans, who have been there since season 1. They are established as a recurring TNG threat. And you're like, okay, cool. We're going to make our big TNG final villain. You know, he's going to be human. He's going to be a clone of Picard, but he's going to be culturally Romulan/Riemann. And it's like, well, he's not Romulan, is he? He actually actively hates Romulans. He's like actively othering them and calling them Romulans. So what you've done is you've taken this TNG movie setup for having the Romulans finally be the big threat, and you've gone, actually, no, fuck that. Fuck that. Here's my original content. Here's the Remans. That's what we're talking about now. It's like, you established them 20 minutes ago. I don't know shit about the Remans. Why should I care? How much heavy lifting do you really think this, like, 2002 CGI shot of the dilithium mines of Mordor, sorry, I mean Remus, does for your world building? Spoilers, it's not that much. In fact, it's so bad. The voice doesn't have a fucking name. Ron Perlman is in this movie as the Viceroy. He don't got a fucking name.
Excuse me, that's Mr.
Why?
Viceroy. Mr. Andy
It's
Viceroy.
That's right.
I still
That's
don't
why he
know
doesn't use his
anything. I still don't know anything about Riemann culture other than they work in the mines. That's
Yeah,
all they
That's
gave them,
because
pretty much.
this is an early draft for Dark Knight Rises. Tom Hardy, you know,
buckle
It
up.
is
Here
the
we
same
go.
plot point,
born
isn't
to
it?
darkness. You were born to darkness, and then the Viceroy lifted me out.
You'll have to excuse the
God!
light. Yeah, this is... Tom Hardy going from, like, do you think when he read the script of Dark Knight Rises, he was like, hang on, I've read this before. This is seeming very familiar. Where's Ron Perlman?
Well, no, he was probably more like, well, I like working with Tom
talented
Christopher Nolan, he
directors.
doesn't make me want to act. Well, yes, actually, because for what I
Well, this-
understand,
this is
working on
before all
Nemesis
that.
made him want to actively slit his own wrists. Like he nearly
Yeah.
killed himself over how bad he felt about this role. Because he tries his best, but he's got nothing going for it. And from what I understand, it actually sent him into a depressive spiral because of how shit it was.
Actually,
So not only is it a bad feeling watching it, knowing that like it actively hurt someone, like that makes it even worse, you know?
I've changed my mind. For my Kelvin vs. TNG relaunch, I want Tom Hardy as Captain Picard, and I want someone to ask him. I really do.
Okay.
Okay, so the Remans are this like subclass, slave class.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they go fund me enough rupees to pay for
Well,
the biggest ship in the history of Star Trek?
judging from their outfits, they hold EDM, electronic dance music festivals on Remus and Reno. And
No, they just
It's
do a
hugely
load
successful.
of they just do a load of like stream bait. They're just streaming live from the Romulan mines, you know, and people are like, oh, those poor Remans. We'll just send them a few Quatloos or whatever, and you know, and they're just getting loads of cash together,
I
and then they go
will
buy a.
remember you.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I looked this up. Like, why is the scimitar the way it is? Who created it? Why? Because in the movie, you get one line. We built the scimitar at a secret base, and I felt the urge to reach into the movie and grab Shinzon and said, "Listen here, you little shit. You're a Romulan. All of your base is a secret." It's like it's obviously built for the Dominion War, but like, well done on getting that out a year late.
Well,
Fucking
yeah.
congratulations, No Man's Sky developer.
They did
Like-
expand a little bit on the Riemann thing, saying they were used as cannon fodder in the Dominion War. So they did give them a little bit of not much to warrant it, but a little bit of
Ah,
expansion
yes,
into
their
how they're used.
culture.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
maybe not their culture, maybe how
I
they
also
were
just-
exploited.
But the scimitar is a cool design, right? I actually think
I
it's
like
a relatively having the unfurling wings and like it's a very boxy and going with the Nosferatu influence. It does actually look fairly bat-like, but that's an interesting, and unique,
subtle. It's so
silhouette
subtle.
for a Star Trek ship. But the problem is that it's so oversold as a threat. That bit when Mr. War of Tactical Analysis like 52 disruptor banks, 80 torpedo tubes, primary and second, and it's like, so just tell me that we can't win the fight. Like, that's my other problem with the big ship battle thing. I know we're not going to win because you told me an hour ago that the Enterprise has no chance against this thing.
But
And
there
it's
might
like,
be a
that's the
chance.
point.
But there's a
No,
chance.
there isn't a chance, actually. There wasn't
There
a
was.
chance,
Dunno.
actually. No, there wasn't. It's like, this is the thing, right? If you're going to build your climax around the fight between two, the immovable object and the unstoppable force, if you're going to have that thing, if you're trying to make Wrath of Khan again, something they explicitly were trying to do, the most integral part of the Battle of the Mutara Nebula, the reason why it works, is because there is give and there is take. There is, hey, I just blew off your fucking nacelle versus you just blew up our entire torpedo tube and I'm literally seeing Enterprise crew members getting set on fire. And the closest that you get is like, so what does the Enterprise do? Oh, you fucking see the helmsman fly out of the fucking bridge, which is rough, right? R.I.P. Branson, whatever your fucking name was. What happens on the ship on the scimitar? Oh, you get some sparks. Doesn't seem like they're all that inconvenienced by it. So why should I believe that we have... Oh, so it's all just a build-up for the MacGuffin so that we can just go up to the bridge where they just seem to have a thermonuclear bomb just sitting underneath Shinzon's chair and just go, beep, and done.
Data
actually
was... Go ahead.
I was just say it's the Thalaron reactor is actually the prison where General Zod and his lieutenants are. Go on.
Well, no, I was going to say Data is the torpedo that Luke Skywalker fires.
Oh, God.
It just hits that one vulnerable spot
Use
in the
the Force,
entire
Geordie.
Death Star. Which, by the way,
Go on.
watching a 6-year-old Brent Spiner run down the hallway before getting sucked out, correction, sir, it's blown out. Was that actually did that help him aim at all? Because I don't think I'm pretty sure the force of decompression is just going to blow him wherever
You
it
know what they
wants.
should have done? They clearly should have loaded Data up into a t-shirt cannon and fired him.
T-shirt.
They have
As we get more
Android-sized
and more-
t-shirt cannons.
As
But
we
it
get
makes no
more
sense, right?
relevant-
They've just rammed this ship. They said they had 4% phaser power left. They very specifically said, "Why don't you just fire your phasers in there instead of beaming over?
Actually.
Beam your captain over with a gun."
Why don't you beam a photon torpedo over? They did it in Voyager.
No.
No, can't do
because
that. Oh, that's
Picard
against
said-
the rules.
No, look, that's not a plot hole. Picard said, I have to do this. That's the explanation.
Yes. They've
What
also
is it?
exhausted.
Listen,
They've exhausted their complement of photon torpedoes.
isn't there
Fuck
a
off.
bigger Chekhov's
Fuck off.
gun in this film than them demonstrating the emergency transporter ped? Because as soon as you saw that, you just went, well, that's going to get used. Like, it's the biggest telegraph to kind of go, why did they need that? Why could have someone not just kind of gone, I got the transporters working, but I can only be one person, you know? They just had to kind of go,
Or-
look,
yeah.
shit.
Meanwhile, in TNG, they're powering the cargo room transporters with a phaser. Someone run down to a cargo room and stick a phaser in the freaking transporter.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
replicate the emergency transporter.
Yeah, that's actually a point. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right, here's...
I
hold on.
have a question. No, you go.
This is a quick one. This is such a plot hole. If the Remans have been down working in the mines as a labor class for hundreds of years, why do they have such long fingernails?
Yeah, no, that would actually be a massive detriment to dilithium mining. You would probably
Well,
have
then-
like really damaged nails, if anything.
They're like 5-6 inch long nails. Have you ever
Maybe they're
seen
not, like,
someone?
physically mining it
with
and
hard
using
labor?
tools.
The Nosferatu.
Listen, there's a
the
big
music-
nail
that's
community. Sorry, go on.
That's the Riemann Burning Man. That's the Riemann Burning Man aesthetic now, you know.
I was going to say there's a big nail
nail
community with the
community.
Remans. Definitely like a lot of designs going around. There's their annual show every
Reman
year.
Lacaristas, you know.
So here's my one, right? Here's a small one. So they pick up the positronic signature of a B4, which, by the way, like, you have really good sensors, or you just happen to be passing the right way, I guess, for it to be on Kalara.
The solar winds blew the signal.
Ah, yes, I see.
Like a bad radio station.
And then they pick up like 5 or 6 pieces of this thing. Why? Why did the Romulans decide? Why did the Remans, sorry, and
that
Jones on decide? Why did we have to break him into bits and put him in a particular place?
Yeah.
What was the point of that? Surely that just looks more suspicious to the people you're trying to trap.
It's a natural occurrence. Okay.
It's raining androids again. God damn it.
The Aurora Borealis.
Yeah. Yeah. And Worf, stalwart Klingon warrior, a hand comes up from the sand, and he squeals like a mouse. Is like running through the kitchen of a 1950s household. Like it's terrible.
It's
No, so
really
Stars,
bad.
that goes back to they have so many scenes that don't actually further the plot. They could have cut
Yeah.
that entire thing out. Just just pick up the signal, go down and find him somewhere and pick him up. But they wanted an excuse to go four-wheeling with this dented golf cart.
With a machine gun in the back.
Yeah.
Why do they reassemble him?
That was one of the best parts. Worf with the minigun in the back. That was like one of the only good parts of it.
Yeah, no, so Shy, I was talking about this with Otto, and he didn't quite clock what I think he was talking until later when like the actual plot point occurred. But it's like everyone forgot that this already happened. It's like they forgot that Data Law and Brothers and Descent happened. It's like, hey, Data, this is an exact copy of you. Let's just reassemble him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
what could
you
go
know
wrong?
what? Fuck it. You're a lieutenant commander on the flagship of the Federation with God knows how many security clearances and God knows how many fucking fleet-like movements in your brain. You can encrypt the Enterprise computer so complexly that a fucking assimilated hive mind of 1,000 billion individuals can't break your encryption. Let's just download all of that into an unsecured Android with a suspicious redundant memory port. Now, here's the thing, right? There is a plot point of, well, you see, we noticed that and we think we're going to have a tactical advantage. Motherfucker, this kind of shit wouldn't happen if you had basic data security and just didn't download all of your fucking memories into the first android you run across. What the fuck is your problem?
Look, I don't.
Imagine if they had done that with Law. Law wouldn't been able to hit the fucking self-destruct button.
I don't understand why this doesn't make sense to you. You work in electronics. You have seen boomers interact with technology before. You know that someone of that age would obviously back up all their files onto that without giving it a second thought. If anything, that's like an anti-plot hole. That makes complete sense if you've ever seen an old person.
Fucking hate that you're right.
Before was like, I'd like to ask you about your automobile warranty. and Data just instantly gave him all his information.
Yeah, Dave just hit that iCloud backup button real fast. Didn't even fucking question it. Oh, I hate this movie.
What else sucked? What else sucked about Nemesis?
Okay.
Why is so now in 2 of the 4 Next Generation movies, someone is hanging off of a catwalk that is like mysteriously detached from.
I have some trivia about that. Hang on.
Oh, there's trivia about that?
There is.
The bottomless on 29.
Hang on. I gotta find it. Keep talking.
I really wanted Riker to start
Didn't it
shouting,
also
I am not enough of you.
Didn't that also happen with Nero in Star Trek 09? Or am I misremembering?
No.
Oh, yeah.
There was some. Hang on.
Well, there's hanging off stuff. There's lots of hanging off.
Well, it's not a catwalk, but he's hanging off this precipice with like no security railing.
Falling off it, yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, we don't have railings in the future.
Before kicking the Riemann Viceroy to his death, Riker originally was going to quip, "Don't worry, hell is dark." But Jonathan Frakes objected. So they didn't.
Well,
Hey, Stu, this fucking sucks. I'm not saying it.
But however, it's still in the novel. It's still in the book.
John, in hell, Darth's book.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, boys. Let's brainstorm. What is the coolest action movie thing you could say right before you kick a Riemann off the edge of the cliff?
Oh gosh.
what does John McClane say to Alan Rickman's character before he's knocked off the Nakatomi
He
Plaza?
doesn't.
He
doesn't say anything.
Well, he doesn't say anything. He just he rips the taped gun off his back, shoots him, and he just falls. Right?
Remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've had it with these motherfucking Riemanns on this motherfucking starship.
That's right.
Riker should have looked down, had a really serious look on his face, kicked him, and said, "Just like, don't worry, I'll have what she's having." Fucking
Riker's bad at making out with Troy. You ever notice that? In that scene where they're making out, and then it switches to Tom Hardy, right? And you're like, Tom Hardy is much better at this. But of course, it's wrong. But I'm just saying.
you made me upset.
These are the thoughts that go through your mind during this scene.
I'm just noticing it when they're bad at kissing. Frakes and Sturgis, they're like bad at making out.
Shy's sitting there like, I know rape is wrong, but he's actually a pretty good kisser.
Crossing a line here, guys.
Jesus.
I'm not the one who said it, all right?
Okay.
Let's talk about something good in the movie for once.
Okay, good for it.
We did talk about the ship battles, but they actually, all the tactics are like kind of cool. They use the phaser to fan out to try to find it. There's Shinzon dropping the cloak to try to sucker him in. That's a classic one. You have Deanna and Worf finding them with the telepathy. So
yeah. I love that they rotate the ship to present the side that has active
the stronger
shields.
side. Yeah, that's way cooler. Yeah.
Some proper goddamn naval warfare. It's good. Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Yep.
Here's the thing.
And that's all the good stuff about Nemesis.
Well, here's a question, right? I feel like there is enough material here that you could make one change and you would not have maybe a great movie, but you would at least have something better. Now, I have one in mind already, a change that I could make that would make this a lot better immediately, even if it was the exact same thing, like whatever. Guys, I want to roundtable this. Like, what if you could change one thing about this movie, only one thing, Even if it's just like one scene, one line, one actor, whatever.
Okay, I think
what
I
would
know
it
what it
be
is.
and why?
You would
Okay, go for Idle.
replace Shinzon with Sealer.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
instantly you've got
Justify it.
backstory, you've got motive, and you don't have to invent a whole lot of stuff for people to believe instantly. And it makes a lot more sense.
But then you
than-
lose the mirroring stuff, right? Isn't
Oh,
that such
well.
an important theme?
Oh no. What a shame.
Actually, yeah, you don't have the interactions with Troy that you're so beautiful crap. You could even just cut the Remans entirely and do like a sect of Romulans that want to overthrow the
Yeah,
government.
Sealer could have built up support and had her own sort of offshoot of the Romulan Empire.
Or been
She
in
does have-
disgrace and taken over a shipyard. Something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She
makes
has
a lot more
backstory
sense.
with Data, so
And that as well. That would have made
well,
much more sense.
I don't mean season 1 backstory. I mean like when he
Well, it
defeats her
destroyed the
with
blockade. Yeah.
the blockade.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Shai, what about you?
I think you cut B4. You cut the entire B4 thing. It
Yeah?
eliminates the whole dune buggy scene. It gives you more emphasis on the politics of the Romulan Senate. You know, obviously, cast better actors as the Romulan Senate and the Romulan generals.
Bring back Senator Talara.
Yeah, that's so bad.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
that
B4,
for me-
if you were to have Sealer as the bad guy, B4, her making a copy of Data and sending out into the wild to fuck with him makes a lot of malicious sense. I think that works with that context. But yeah, in this...
Well, I think Shai is going with the unaltered
Yeah.
one.
I was thinking
if we-
combine
if we
the two,
merge
but
your
yeah.
versions of the movie together,
Yeah.
suddenly we have a good movie, but we can't have that.
Yeah, Spiner usually his acting, his character acting is usually great, but B4 is he's
It's not a lot to work with, is it? Yeah. Auto, what about you? If you could make one change.
Can't even think about it, man. There's so many.
because it's perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's more of a
I'm
way
trying to
to
think.
begin.
I am in a room with lights.
With lights.
most of the options are just to cut stuff, which
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what's the biggest single change you could do. I don't know. I'm thinking like a point of view reversal. I don't know. Maybe you come at it, have more stuff from the Romulans' point of view or from the Remus point of view or something. Because it's not like all the I mean, obviously you got to follow the Enterprise hero's story, but most of the stuff they didn't add anything to the plot whatsoever. So at least if you did something way out of left field, like political intrigue stuff from the Romulan side, that could at least make it, a more interesting story. But
Yeah,
Yeah. For me, I think it's a simple casting choice, and it's just get rid of Tom Hardy and have Patrick Stewart act for 2.
James
Because
McAvoy.
if you do that, well, no, here's
No,
the
'cause
thing.
same thing could have happened.
If you do, no, that's the thing. It's because the problem with casting anyone else as someone as instantly recognizable as Patrick Stewart is that because it's the problem you have with Tom Hardy, right? Is Tom Hardy we know he's a good actor. He's like actually a proper dramatic actor, but you look at him and you go, that's not Picard. Instantly, you go like that. There's just no similarity in their faces. There's nothing about the way that they speak or the way that they act that seems remotely similar. They have to go on about like, oh, well, a lifetime of violence will change you. You know, they broke my nose. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck off. That's just your weak justification. And look, here's a picture of like Tom Hardy posing in a backlot. That will justify it. But if you make it Patrick Stewart, you immediately upgrade to a more experienced actor who can play this, and you don't have the legitimacy problem. I don't look at Patrick Stewart and go, well, that's not Patrick Stewart, now do I? And it's like, then it has way more credence to the idea of it being a mirror. And guess what? There's a lot about this film. What was the tagline on the poster? A generation's final journey comes to an end, or what the fuck, right?
Star Trek Nemesis, don't watch this.
Please don't, we beg you. The actual stuff about everyone breaking up has no impact. It doesn't really contribute anything to the plot. It's just a reason for everyone to fuck off at the end. But if you make it so that Picard is on the scimitar and he has to kill Shinzon, who looks just like him at this age, and he has to confront his own mortality, which is a very Star Trek idea. Suddenly, the idea of the final journey and the actual end of TNG ends because you have technically killed Picard, and he has to deal with that, and that's a problem, right? And that's a lot more emotionally resonant. And I guess what I think Patrick Stewart would be bringing a lot different energy to the role. He probably wouldn't be as like mustache twirlingly evil. He'd probably be fucking more like Hamlet's uncle in fucking Hamlet. I forget the character name, but like Claudius. He can play. He played an excellent version of him. Like he can do malicious evil, but with a point. He can do that. And guess what? I very much doubt you would have had to deal with any of the Troy rape scenes. You would have been able to play him off against the other actors who already know Patrick Stewart and don't have to, know who is this Tom Hardy guy. I don't know. I guess act like he's a clone of Picard. Just believe it. Go, please, believe it.
What
the audience has to somehow.
The thing that made that more believable is if they'd actually had a scene. He got dressed up in the cadet's uniform. If they'd had a scene at the start of the movie, as him as young Picard, as a flashback. That would have been great, just to have something in there, just to him to go like, I've always liked looking at the stars, blah blah blah, and all this. I want to be an explorer, and and all this, and that would have made it a little bit more believable to then transition to a young Picard, and that would have put that in our heads to go, oh, that's what he looked like, rather than this guy in like the most gimp outfit ever, just sort of walking out going, I don't like the lights.
Idol, you just gave CBS their new sitcom, Young Picard.
Like young Sheldon.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh no. In fact, you know what? I think Idol does actually have a point. You could actually start off with a flashback at the academy, and then like you end the scene with the reveal of some random cadet, the cadet that Picard's been talking to was actually a Romulan agent, and they got the DNA sample, and then going on from Otto's idea of showing more of the Riemann perspective, you follow Shinzon's life for a while, and you go from like a scene of him getting maybe the shit beaten out of him by a guard, and like the viceroy bringing him up, and then you cut to the wedding, because then it's like utter despair to utter joy, and that's a way stronger contrast. I feel like that would be a much better way.
You cut the wedding. Cut the wedding.
It's fine.
No, the wedding makes no sense unless you kill the bride or the groom. What did we learn from Battle of Terra?
No.
You show a wedding, you gotta kill one of the bride or the groom. You got to choose one.
No,
that's how it works.
Man.
The problem is, like, we're taking this shit sandwich and trying to put different pieces of bread on it, but it's still shit in the middle. Like, throw the whole thing out, write a different script for your 10th movie, and make it better.
So, did you?
Well, they had a different script.
Well, yes, they did.
Did they?
Is this?
What was the other grasp of this? I haven't.
No. This. I was going to say the script that John Logan was working on with Brent Spiner for the sequel to this.
That's exactly
was supposed to be was supposed to be the final TNG movie that was going to bring back like a whole bunch of characters and sort of wrap things up nicely. But because Nemesis performed so badly, it just never got.
Look, we'll redeem the shit later. Just give us another movie, and they were like, "Lol, no."
Yeah. Well, I saw this in the theaters. I remember being I was like, "Oh, they broke the streak." Like the Star Trek movies had all the even movies were good, all the even were good, and all the odd movies were like, like 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are all great movies. And then this one completely broke the streak.
Yeah, and so incidentally, John Logan, who you mentioned, I think was one of the main screenwriters on this. I have like a love-hate relationship with him because he worked on Penny Dreadful, which I think is really good. But then he also did the script for fucking Spectre, which also pulls the trick of I'm related to you in some fashion, and this will create a villainous rivalry that will span the stars. And it's like, no, it didn't.
I thought they took that from Goldmember. I remember watching Spectre going, this is just Goldmember.
that was also. But I think that Goldmember came out after Nemesis, so at least it would have beaten that comparison. Okay,
what about
We're comparing Nemesis to Goldmember. What have we sung to?
Let's talk about the Riemann elephant in the room, actually. And talk about Data's ultimate demise and that final sequence of Picard deciding to one-man gun it over there, Data following him, and the ultimate cop-out and the weird kind of stabby Shinzon moment where he impales himself on a bar and then has to crawl himself forward for some fuck knows what's going on in all of that,
because it's fucked up and weird. Look, You know what?
So
People sling a lot of shit at Picard season 1, and some of it rightfully so. I do think that, like, I feel like Michael Chabon had an actual, like, a secret plan. Like, he had his book that was like Star Trek Picard season 1, and he, on his first few pages, he had, like, the synth thing. We had, like, the XBs, we had dealing with the career stuff, and then on the very final page of the book, you turn it over, and it says, "Ha ha! Surprise on you, fucking CBS! You just paid me to rewrite the ending of Nemesis with a better fucking emotional resolution."
Pretty much, yeah.
And he was like, "Ha! I've done that." And that's the reason why he did it. It was just to fix his Nemesis, like, limp. Oh, that's how you kill one of the most iconic characters in Star Trek. It's fine.
I've never disagreed with you more about anything ever. This wasn't the best ending ever. Like, it's, whatever. Heroic sacrifice is kind of a trope. But you go from that to, just kidding, we undid 25 years of his human journey development by sticking him in a friggin' computer where he doesn't talk to anyone and runs as a program, except we're going to pull him out for 5 minutes to say goodbye to Picard and then kill him again. That was the worst part of Picard, bar none. I hate that so much, and they did him dirty by, like, his whole shtick is he wants to be more human, and so he learned about sacrifice, and he did that at the end. It wasn't the most delicate ending, but it's so much better than, we just stuck him as a computer program in the ether. That was awful.
I know. I liked it. Sorry.
I agree with Otto that it doesn't make any sense for the character, but it was really well executed.
Yeah,
on the show. Like, it was very touching. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
You guys talking about the scene with him and Picard in the room chatting right before?
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
in the Crate and Barrel room. Yeah.
But as an end to him is.
Oh yeah, I agree.
What
were we talking about with Nemesis? Like, what's the Nemesis question related to this?
I've forgotten.
The ending. Spiner's ending.
Yes.
Oh, it's. Yeah, I was saying, like, yeah. So we've just seen Shinzon bring a knife to a broken railing fight and losing. And Picard's inexplicably in shock from killing this guy that he's known for like 20 minutes. Like, there's no reason why.
Mind-bendingly evil. He's gonna destroy the entire Federation. He's raped one of, like, Picard's most clearest friends. He's destroyed a ship, killed his helmsman by, like, decompressing his fucking view screen, and Picard is somehow so emotionally distraught he can't even go and do the job he said he was gonna do. Yeah. Why?
And, Spiner shows up.
Recast him and made it. Patrick Stewart playing for 2.
And made it Ian McKellen? Yes, you're absolutely right. Ian McKellen should
have
mentioned.
That's a good pick. Ooh, yes. Any excuse to get those two on screen together.
Yeah. So Data shows up, slaps his little Deus Ex Machina joy buzzer on his chest. And rather than, like, saying, "Oh, they're still operating transporters on this Riemann ship," or or running really fast, He just stands and dies. It's utterly ludicrous.
Wait, yes. Can't he just survive in the vacuum of space?
Well, it's the explosion that kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't phasers have a timer
he can
on
run
them?
really fast, right?
Faster than the speed of light.
He can really move. Data.
What if? No, okay, here we go. What if he'd actually left his head outside the ship, but told his body to go in? Shoot the failure on me. So he has a headless Data, slaps a transporter on Picard, zooms off, and then it's just Data's head like spinning through space.
You've done it. The one change that can fix Nemesis and erase everything.
The only one that can
Lego
improve
head off and leave it on the...
It's if, like, you put a little balloon with a smiley face on his body, so that's what you see. Just like turns.
But they make it funny, so it walks into walls every now and then, and just goes, you just see you kind of get the whole like this thing going on, just like.
Yeah, it's like in DS9 when they bring Kevin back from the dead and remote control him, or Spock's brain. Just put it. They've done so many lifeless remote control shticks. Just do another one for Data.
By the way,
and then he can have B-Force body. Fine.
Just to address a question from chat, since we are streaming this live, shockingly.
Yeah.
Booster Suncoast wants to ask Idol, what even movie is bad in your mind?
What even movie
Yeah.
is bad? No,
Yeah, you reacted
No,
incredulously
I'm
when I
more
said-
reacting to the fact you would say that all the odd films are bad, and they're not.
I didn't
Oh,
say
I
all the
disagree with that
other films
also.
I disagree
Search
with
for
that.
Spock, I think, is amazing. I love
Search
Steve
Spock's
Search for
great.
Spock.
Motion picture, well, we all know where I stand on that, and that differs from person to person. Final Frontier is
No, I didn't
trash.
say that.
I will give you that.
Final Frontier is a masterpiece.
Final
Generations is
Frontier
great.
is in my top half for sure.
Oh, wow.
good.
Generations
I
is
like
good. I
Insurrection.
like Generations a fair bit, but we were talking about that. So no, I would say
But it's fair to say the odd movies are strong. The even movies are stronger than the odd movies.
Yes.
What about
Yeah,
Into
absolutely fair.
Darkness? That's
Wow.
an even
That's
movie.
right.
That's after the street broke. I was after the street broke. It's already too late by that point.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, have we got anything more to say about this trash film?
Fucking
Wait, let me see. I took a bunch of notes. Let's see.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I want to say
done.
let's be real thorough here because we're not going to swing back around at any point in the future. So let's make sure we get it all out now.
Gotta get it all in there.
In fact, so here's a fun little thing that I noticed because I have this. I have the Star Trek Stardate collection, which is the original 10 movies on Blu-ray, because fucking Paramount Plus cannot stop fucking giving the rights away, so I can't watch it on the home of Star Trek. Their branding, not mine. Now, if I open this up, there is a consistent theme to the way the discs are done, right? Look, there's like the motion picture, there's like, the Wrath of Khan, and I'm sure some of these are
I'm
reissues,
waiting just to see
right?
Nemesis just thrown again, or just not in there.
No. So like here we go, and then you've got like these like nicely starry designs for this one. Like Insurrection's like a nice like orange because of the Insurrection, the Briar Patch rather, and then there's Nemesis, which is blatantly just the old Blu-ray release that they've crammed in there because no one fucking cares. And it's also a case of I had never noticed that because I've never rewatched Nemesis unless it's at fucking gunpoint because it's unpleasant. It's too long. It's boring. It's mean-spirited. It's badly acted. It's cheap. And it's fucking offensive.
We've actually got a request from one of our paying subscribers says we need a sub rewatch of it, so I think we're going to have to do that.
Oh boy.
Look, we love charity, but not that much.
I know. It sounds like I'm willing to. Well, maybe we'll put it on the vote at some point. We'll go through the films.
I'm impressed you have that.
Shai, what you got in your notes?
I have Nemesis on 8-track, but my notes.
No, that's a
my
real
notes,
connoisseur.
the only remaining thing I have in my notes was just to comment on the costuming. The costuming of this movie is just
Yeah.
atrocious across the board. For some reason, the Federation uniforms, I don't know if they just washed
Everyone
them too
looks
many
worse.
times.
Yeah.
They look like they're onesies, like the sort of think geek like one piece furry
It's
onesie.
really
you would buy.
unflattering on everyone. Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
looks like everyone's wearing them so much more loosely, and it's like, what happened here?
You
The
know,
grey?
I-
Like, everyone talks about how bad the grey looks, and I always think maybe you're thinking of Nemesis because they look washed out, whereas if you look at them in
Yeah.
First Contact, they're almost more of a purpley grey, like they've got like texture and colour and warmth.
Yeah, the proportion of the gray to black is bad in this movie. And then, of course, the Remans. I appreciate the call out to Batman Forever, but I don't think it fits in. It's the whole Bat theme. We're going to go with the Joel Schumacher Batman Forever costumes for the Remans. And then the Romulan generals. It looks like they just kind of recycled some old TNG uniforms from the show.
Now, actually, Sarge, you kind of like the mosaic.
I thought it was a nicer look. I've never liked the TNG. The shoulder pads are so ridiculous. I hate them. They always look people always talk about like certain aspects of different Star Treks feeling dated, right? Like, or I like how they don't feel like they're written in science fiction. Like I've heard some people say that for them, like Strange New Worlds and Discovery, people don't talk like they're in the future. They talk like they're from 2022. But then I look back and then I see that comment and I think, you haven't watched like TNG in a while, right? Because there's a lot of 80s-isms and 90s-isms all over that show, and it's never more acute than when you're looking at a Romulan. Like, those fucking shoulder pads would not fly in any generation outside of the 80s or 90s.
But we did notice the cruise ship wedding band. They all had matching uniforms at the beginning of the
they look
movie.
real
so-
bad.
I was going to say those are like near the top of the costuming for this movie. So
for the movie.
You
Yeah,
know they were new, yeah.
Dude, how many people like you know, if you ever hired a band for a wedding, usually you have like family or friends play or something, and it's like, how many times have you gone to a wedding and seen the whole band in like uniforms? That's not a thing, right?
That's a Starfleet
Maybe
thing.
military,
I think,
maybe like a military wedding or something.
Do you think Starfleet has an official band that they like rent out for
Yeah,
engagements?
they've got to. Chief O'Brien's
Yeah, all they do is sing Way to Eden, brother.
All right, don't start with that because that's actually a masterpiece.
Dear.
Oh,
How would you know what I want?
All right, what else is on the?
The shy
I
list.
love that. What else is on the shy list of notes? We should have taken
That-
notes. We really should have.
That was I think we got to everything else. Like, yeah, just
Oh,
the Romulan,
so you know what?
Romulan scenes are disappointing. Yeah, it's all.
There's one other thing I have to note, right? So I've been giving various anecdotes throughout all our time watching Star Trek of like what happened when Brody and my friend Katie, like Marie rather, had been watching them, right? Because I've been taking them through the entirety of Star Trek, and they fucking loved First Contact. Both of them are big horror nerds. They love all the prosthetic work. Like, it's so much good character development, so much more fun. We can rewatch that anytime. Insurrection, we've watched a few times. It's good fun. It's just stupid. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's a good way to waste 2 hours. Generations, I don't think we've watched, but it was like the one time we watched it. It was the one time that Brody actually kind of liked Kirk, which because he hates William Shatner too much to like otherwise like the character. When we watched Nemesis, Brody had fallen asleep in 45 minutes. It was the middle of the day. I can't understate to you how boring. And then he woke up and Data had just died, and he was like, "What did I miss?" And I was like, "Not much." That's how fucking disaffected and limp this movie is. Guess what? Picard season 1 through 3, yeah, sure, it's got its ups and downs, but I like it more than Nemesis. Not
Oh,
high
yeah.
bar, sure, but I do.
The Romulans are better in Picard season 1. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Apparently, they like also beam over at one point, work their way through half of the Scimitar's roster, and then steal a shuttle and get back. Like,
Yeah, that was a real.
Yeah,
I wasn't really
important
paying attention, but apparently they blocked out like 20 minutes for that. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
add
it's just
something to the
attempt.
plot.
Not
yeah.
really. No.
Picard's disruptor can melt the door in like a 2-second swipe, enough to fuse it together, but the Reman's disruptors can't shoot through
Yeah,
it.
but, you forgot about dual wielding Picard. Hey?
Yeah.
Before we had dual wielding 7, we had
That's plus
like,
2
That
to
was
your,
a very-
your meltability.
That was a very Star Wars-esque moment where, like, they open the door, they
He's
run, they
addicted.
close it, and then you just hear the faint, like, ding, 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 like the little, you know,
Yeah.
disruptor shots off the door as the stormtroopers are outside.
The door's open
Yeah.
and Darth Maul's there and he ignites the other lightsaber and you're like, "Oh, this is awesome!"
In fact, you know what? That's another thing. They fucking like talk about the Scorpion class attack flyer, right? That's the little like the 2-person attack craft. And then they talk about it and they show you it and it flies through the ship and it has like mounted guns. And then they don't use them in the fight. Why? Did the CGI budget run out? Did you have to make too many Romulan gimp suits? Like, what the fuck happened?
No, that was the
see them
one.
even getting.
They had
You
the
even see them
one.
getting destroyed when they get
You do,
rammed.
yeah.
No, you see like entire rows of them getting destroyed when they
No,
ram
they
the
were miniatures.
scimitar. It's like,
Yeah.
what
That
are
was
you
the
doing?
that was the test bed miniature department when they were making tiny
They
little
were-
models of them to scale up.
Fun
It's,
size.
it's not my fault they shot out of proportion. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when Ford produced a bunch of like fake shells of their cars so that they could participate in like a race in Italy against Ferrari. That's so the Rebans
there
only
was-
had the budget for one working model.
There was actually a recall on the Scorpion class, so they were taking them back to Romulus for the defect. That's why they couldn't use them.
It allows
okay,
human
okay,
pilots.
yeah.
That's the defect. It can't be pilot through adequately sized windows in the bridge.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, yeah.
I think I've talked enough about Nemesis. I don't know about you.
I will be happy to never think about Nemesis again after this conversation.
I think we need to do a rewatch together. Like, I think we need to do that for
No.
the
By
the way-
subs. That has to happen.
So
Pay
just
me.
to
Maybe
close
make
with
it a
some more,
Patreon thing.
to close with some more Star Trek news, over there, have they also removed all the Star Trek movies from Paramount Plus and put them
Yeah.
on HBO Max?
We
Does
don't
that happen
have
over in
HBO
England?
over here. I think they're on Prime.
You don't have HBO.
No. What? Do
Oh,
we
they
have
moved
HBO
them to
still?
Prime.
I-
Okay.
I don't
'Cause
know
in
about
the-
HBO, but I can literally check and see if they're on Paramount Plus right
Have a
now.
look. Have a
In
look
the
on Prime.
States, movies 2 through 10 have been given to HBO Max.
Wait,
Yeah.
2 through 10?
Two, 3, 5, 6, and 9. What the hell? We'll move those over and keep the
Yeah.
rest.
Wrath of Khan.
it's-
Let's just see where I can watch the Wrath of Khan.
Ooh, Netflix is recommending I watch Beverly Hills Cop.
Ooh, let's do that. That sounds more
Well,
entertaining.
that's a good recommendation. Oh, and Nicholas Myers. Nicholas Myers has left Twitter. Nicholas Myers announced that he's
Oh,
leaving
well.
Twitter.
Shut down
no.
the show, folks.
Paramount Plus is on Amazon, so you can watch it through that. So and it's on that. So in the UK,
Sorry, I've
it's
got a
all
very
still
blue
there.
logo at the moment.
I see blue.
Privacy notice. Sorry, this is the
Standing
reason
next
why
to the
I don't-
warp core.
my children's children will have defects, I'm sure. That's my thing. No, I don't want to watch British true crime. God, I hate this interface, by the way. If anyone who uses Paramount Plus, stop using it right now.
Way ahead of you.
Why would you make a distinction between sci-fi and fantasy and science fiction? I don't. Oh, I can watch Clock Stoppers. Okay, they are all still on here. I
Okay,
can
we've
still
still
watch
got
all of the
them.
Trek movie
We've still
because
got them.
HBO Max does not exist over here. So.
Yeah, we're safe from the rights anomalies of America. But I think that's a
But
temporary
Europe
move. I think
wins
they're going to go
again.
back to Paramount Plus in like a year or something. I don't know. It's a bizarre.
Yeah,
thing.
but it just seems like it's the cornerstone of their streaming service, and they've already started licensing it out.
It's because whoever was doing the licensing watched Nemesis first, and then just went, we want this on
there
our
you go.
service, and just chucked it. Get those
Get
up.
away! People will pay us for this. Get the fuck out of here!
Oh, on that news, I think we'll call it a day for our Nemesis Watch. Thank you everyone for watching and subscribing. Catch up with us next week. We'll be back. Me and Stars will be back to play some Star Trek Elite Force. So I'm quite hyped for that part
We're
2
gonna
of that.
fucking set phases to frag.
We're gonna destroy all sorts of things in a plot line that is
Set
much.
phasers to fun. Come on, man.
Well, that's the literal tagline on the
It
book.
actually says,
man.
set phases to frag because it's based on the Quake 3 engine. Anyway, as I said at the start of the show, please go watch our Star Trek reviews of the pilots. We're moving on to the series as soon when we record. I think we're recording next
And-
week.
If you go into our Discord or subscribe to our Twitch channel, you will get a chance to vote and choose what we watch next.
If you are a subscriber, I think we will open 1 or 2 of them to the populace as well. The pros, of course. To everyone else. So
Yeah, we're going to give the plebs like Threshold and Muse, and you're
we
going to
already
have to
did
pick one of
Threshold.
those.
So yeah, there's that.
Do it again.
If you're a Twitch subscriber, you can get access to the votes and also our watch along episodes as well as a bonus where we watch through it and make lots of stupid remarks about the episodes as we're watching. Mostly Stars just going, "What the fuck? Why is this? Oh no!" But we've just finished Battle of the Binary Stars and the Vulcan Hello, and we've been moving on to probably. Let's have a look where the votes.
Wait, hold on a
No.
second.
Hang on, let me look where the votes are.
Mantrap.
We might have broken the streak, Shy, without you eating something on stream.
Oh,
you
my
have anything
word,
close
quick.
by you could munch on?
I've been
just to
I've been
keep-
having cough drops all stream. You just haven't noticed.
There we go. There we go.
go.
It's looking like
Hey.
Naked Now is
Yeah.
going to be our next episode, so look forward to that in a week or so's time. But we'll see you next week for TT Plays Games, and I think we're gonna-
Correction, Idol. That's Naked Blowed Out.
And on that note, we'll see you next week. Ta-ra!